This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free.
Hey y'all, good to see you today, this lovely Friday. I want to say hey to y'all. Hey Anders and Bad Girl and Angela, Abellis, Indie Girl, Sarah, Rubber, Sarah, Abellis, Angela, Bad Girl. It's good to see y'all. And Jenny Jen, I knew if I scrolled all the way up, I'd see you. It's so good to see y'all this Friday. We're gonna do a dual stream, kind of a dual stream. Richard Allen from Delphi was sentenced today, and so last night I dropped a video, and it is a sentencing memorandum from his lawyers, and we're gonna look at that real quick because his lawyers had some interesting things to say, and then we will look at the presser that followed after his sentencing. So I'm going to stop this and tell y'all my thoughts.
Hello, the lovely Zio Sanders.
I'm going to stop this and tell y'all my thoughts about this as we continue. Also, real quick, while we're listening to this, I will link this person in my description box. But if you follow the Sebastian Rogers case, Chris just came up on a podcast last night called the Elevated Truth Podcast. I've not ever talked to them. I don't really watch that channel, but I will drop it in my description box. If you're interested after the live, you can definitely go check that out. So with that, we'll get started. Zio sent me this. I will also link her in the description box as well. And here we go.
I've been following this case closely for years. This document was filed yesterday, December 18th, 2024 at 4:53 p.m.
So it would have been the day before yesterday this document was filed.
It is a sentencing memorandum. It was filed in Carroll County, the state of Indiana, versus Richard Allen. It reads, sentencing memorandum. Comes now defendant Richard Allen by and through counsel Andrew Baldwin, Brad Rosie, and Jennifer Auger, and in anticipation of the sentencing hearing on December 20th, 2024, and the above referenced cause number, respectfully request this court to fashion an appropriate sentence in recognition of the foregoing memorandum. Practical sentencing issues and constraints. Richard Allen maintains his innocence and is hopeful that the appellate process will provide him with an opportunity to present a full defense at a second trial. For this reason, Richard Allen's defense counsel advised Richard Allen not to participate in providing information for the pre-sentence investigation or PSI report to the Allen County Probation Department, as defense counsel assessed that there was no value in Richard Allen continuing to talk with state actors.
So far, they're already kind of like taunting the judge or kind of talking crap, saying that, we're appealing this sentencing, we're appealing what happened, this trial, because number one, you didn't allow us to provide a full defense, and number two, y'all are all just a bunch of state actors. That's what they're saying in this document right now. I was like, wow. And they're saying it to the judge and the court and the prosecution and the DA. They're saying to all of them, basically, you didn't allow us to present a full defense, and you're a bunch of state actors. And I agree.
And the footnote after the word state actors reads, it should be noted for the record that this court has selected the Allen County Probation Department to conduct the PSI and interact with Richard Allen without any input from the defense, nor any explanation as to why the Carroll County Probation Department could not conduct the PSI. Additionally, Carroll County Local Rule, or LR08TR 79-10, provides an analogous example of how a special judge should be selected from a contiguous county, and believes that the proper methodology for selecting special probation department appointments, should a good reason exist, would be appointing a probation office from a contingent county to conduct the PSI. It continues, throughout this case, Richard Allen has brought to the court's attention that he was detained in solitary confinement without due process. This constitutional violation by the state was then exacerbated by the assignment of staff psychologists contracted by the IDOC, who, while having a deep personal interest in the case, engaged in, quote, confidential discussions with Mr. Allen about the details of the acts for which he was accused.
So, first of all, I have to disagree with that statement. It is not unconstitutional for them to hold him in any kind of facility until trial. But, the way he was treated is just completely and utterly unacceptable, in my opinion. And right now they're talking about that psychiatrist who said possibly told him about the white van, which was their whole nail in the coffin. The one that would come up and get on podcasts and was basically fangirling. Bad Girl said, I hope Richard Allen will get a new trial. Oh, yeah, you are seeing double. Let me change my background real quick.
In total, Mr. Allen was housed in 4 different jails or prison during his detention without any input from himself or his appointed counsel. During this time, Mr. Allen was exposed to staff, law enforcement.
Now, that's different for me. That's an issue possibly because I would think he would be allowed to have input on where he was put, but considering his medical conditions at the time and how he didn't have a good grasp on all his faculties, maybe that's why he wasn't allowed to choose where he was sent.
Enforcement officials and offenders,
Right.
all of whom have
Angela.
reported circumstances which negatively impacted his defense. This is not the intended purpose of pre-trial detention in our system of criminal justice. As a result of these constitutional violations, Richard Allen's defense team believe it has an obligation to protect him from the prospect of any further inappropriate contacts with state actors. Additionally, Richard Allen is 52 years old. Pursuant to IC 35-50-2-3, Richard is facing 45 years to 130 years of imprisonment. In the unlikely scenario that under IC 35-50-2-2.2, this court would sentence Richard Allen to the mandatory minimum sentence and run the counts concurrently, on his best day, Richard Allen would receive a 45-year mandatory prison sentence.
So that means if on his best day he gets the minimum sentence and basically they run all the charges that they're sentencing for, like say that you serve your time all at once. So like let's say he got 20 years for count 1, 20 years for count 2. That means that instead of doing 40, when they run it concurrent, that means he would do 20 years and it would be for both the same charge. Like he would be doing both the 20 years at the same time instead of concurrently, which means he would have to do 20 years on one charge. And then after those 20 years, he would start the 20 years for the next charge. Do you understand what I'm saying?
With good time credit, this would amount to 33.75 actual years in prison. This means that Richard Allen, on his best day at sentencing, would be released from prison at 85 years of age. The practical reality is that unless this matter is reversed and retired, Richard Allen is likely facing the rest of his life in prison. Even on his best day at sentencing, Richard would be 85 years old upon his release.
Retired and reversed. That's kind of ballsy. You're asking the whole court to retire and reverse the whole entire trial. Like, you got some nerve. They're laying it down like they do not care.
With these facts in mind, the defense advised Richard Allen to not participate in the pre-sentence process. Again, his continued interaction with state actors does not make sense considering that a second trial may occur, which would allow him to present a full defense. Additionally, Richard will be serving his lengthy sentence.
So they're basically saying that, don't talk to them about sentencing. Don't try to talk to the court. Don't talk to anybody because these are all just people that are paid politicians. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you do. They basically got their eye on you and there's nothing that we can do to change it at the moment. So just don't even talk to them. Don't say nothing. Don't do nothing. Just don't even talk to them about your sentencing at all whatsoever until we can get you a new trial. Like, that's it. That's all. Don't even talk to them mugs is what his attorney is telling them to do.
whether he provides a statement to the Allen County Probation or chooses to avoid providing a statement to the Allen County Probation Department.
And they're saying that, basically it doesn't matter, again, what you say or what you do. They're going to charge you with what they're going to charge you with and give you however many years, regardless of what you say or do at this point, because they're all paid for to make this trial go a certain way. So just don't even talk to them.
This reality also
Precipitated the
defense to advise Richard to not participate in the process. The defense provides this condensed sentencing memorandum considering the practical issues detailed in the previous paragraphs. Dismissal of counts 1 and 2. Double jeopardy prevents Mr. Allen from being sentenced on both his murder conviction and the felony murder conviction for Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Richard Allen was found guilty of count 1, felony murder, victim 1, count 2, felony murder, victim 2, count 3, murder, victim 1, and count 4, murder, victim 2. However, the jury convicted Mr. Allen of both the murder and felony murder of victim 1 and victim 2. An individual cannot be convicted and sentenced for both murder and felony murder where only one killing took place.
Now, this is going to be kind of important.
References Hofgray versus State, and it gives that statute. That was in 2000. Citing Fuller versus State, and that was in 1994. When a jury finds a defendant guilty of both murder and felony murder of the same victim, the court must vacate the felony murder conviction and enter judgment solely on the murder conviction. Therefore, Mr. Allen requests the court vacate his conviction for felony murder and enter judgment solely on counts 3 and 4.
Okay, so basically what they're saying is you've got 2 counts of felony murder that you charged him with and 2 counts of murder that you charged him with. That's 4 counts of murder that he's charged with, okay? And his attorneys are saying you can't do that. Like, you can't find him guilty of 4 freaking murders when there's only 2 victims. So he cites statutes and other court cases where basically you have to vacate the felony murder and only charge them with the murder because there's only one. He's being charged with 1 killing, okay, of 2 individuals. You can't be charged of felony murder and murder, 4 counts total, all at the same time. Like, you have to vacate 2 of those charges. Now, I haven't watched the presser. I don't know exactly what all happened, but I'm interested to see if they did that. Hey, Lindsay, thank you for being here. Hey, Basil, good to see you, love. He just jumped up on the bed.
Statutory mitigating factors. It cites a statute and says the person has no history of delinquency or criminal activity, or the person has led a law-abiding life for a substantial period before commission of the crime.
Now, I don't think any of that's really going to matter. Hey, Norma Guerrera, thank you for being here. So I'm wondering the mitigating factors stating that, he hasn't been convicted of any other crimes before this, if that's the same thing they're doing with the Stephen Stearns case. They're basically saying that he has no prior criminal history, and y'all need to take that into account. And the next one's going to talk about him being a breadwinner for the family. And I would think that maybe you could use that if he had, if he was, a high paid official, a lawyer or something like that, but he worked at the CVS pharmacy. So I don't think that the judge is going to say, hey, we can't prosecute this man and put him in jail for a long time because he works at CVS pharmacy and he needs to be able to work to provide for his family. You know what I mean? But that's what they're going to talk about.
Under that, it reads, Richard Allen has no prior criminal history, and he maintains his innocence on this charge. Richard's lack of any prior criminal history is a mitigating factor. It cites another code and statute. Imprisonment of the person will result in undue hardship to the person or the dependents of the person. Under that, it reads, Richard Allen was the main breadwinner for the household before he was arrested and sent to Westville Prison without a hearing or attorneys present. His imprisonment has created and will continue to create a hardship on his wife of 30 plus years, Kathy Allen.
Okay, again, you can't, when they charge you with a crime and send you to a facility, I mean, that's just what happens. The fact that he didn't have an attorney there, he should have asked for an attorney. And again, he might be the main breadwinner, but he worked at CVS in the photo department. So it's not like, he's bringing home hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. While it might create a hardship, they're not going to take that into consideration because it's a job at the local pharmacy. Lindsay said, if y'all are talking about Delphi, I believe a question about why he added the charges or was asked. And McClellan said he thought it was the best thing to do at that time or something like that. I don't know. I'm talking about the charges. We were talking about how he got charged with 4 counts of murder. There's only 2 victims and 1 crime. You can't charge someone with 4 counts of murder for 2 victims and 1 crime. They charged him with 2 counts of felony murder and 2 counts of murder. Like, in the court, the lawyer said you have to vacate 2 of those charges. And that makes sense. There's 2 freaking victims. So I haven't watched the presser. It just came across my phone. I'm going to watch it with you guys and react to it in real time. But I'm wondering if they did vacate those 2 charges.
Non-statutory mitigating factors. A number of
Hey, Anna.
non-statutory factors exist in this case, among them being 1. Richard Allen served in the United States Army National Guard for approximately 10 years, having enlisted when he was in high school, and 2. Richard Allen has a long history of mental illness, having been treated for major depressive disorder and anxiety disorder throughout his life. His mental health condition was corroborated by the records of the IDOC created during his intake process and at the Reception Diagnostic Center, and again through the records created by his assigned mental health providers at the prison, as well as the independent neurological exam results generated by Dr. Polly Westcott.
I don't know if I've only seen that there was 1 press conference, so I don't know what else going on with that. If I see, I'll be on the lookout though if there's any more. And thank you for being here, Chris. Hey Tosh, and hey Anna. I don't know if you heard me say that before. What I found interesting there is his diagnosis was anxiety and major depressive disorder, but there's no psychosis. And I know he was dealing with psychosis. I mean, I think we can all agree on that, no matter if you think he's guilty or not. That man was going through some things, eating his own feces.
These records were introduced as evidence at various phases during the trial, and therefore the defense requests that this court take judicial notice of the same. The defense would further request that the court acknowledge the legitimacy of his mental health condition in the guilty plea and sentencing order, so the IDOC is on formal notice of his condition when a determination is made as to how and where to confine Mr. Allen while his appeal pends. Conclusion. Richard Allen maintains his innocence and looks forward to the appellate process, which he anticipates will include adjudication by a neutral, detached, and unbiased tribunal. Richard Allen.
So they're basically saying we can't wait to appeal this process because he's going to be completely adjudicated by a non-biased people. We're not going to have any more of you state actors around here, convicting him on 4 counts of murder. They're saying, I can't wait till we can appeal this because he's going to be completely adjudicated by non-biased judicials. Hey, Zio, thank you for being here.
Allen believes that he will be afforded due process under the law and will be permitted to present a full and complete defense at a future trial in this cause.
So again, they're saying, y'all wouldn't let us even present our full defense. So yeah, again, I can't wait to have this new trial to appeal this because he's going to be adjudicated and y'all are a bunch of state actors. This judge is basically formally spitting in all their faces. Like, y'all, I find it hilarious, honestly.
For that reason, as well as all other reasons identified herein, Richard Allen, 1, chose not to participate in the pre-sentence process, 2, will not be presenting evidence at the sentence hearing outside of this memorandum, and 3, his attorneys will be speaking and articulating arguments in minimal fashion during the sentence hearing. Respectfully submitted, Andrew Baldwin and the attorneys, and they signed it.
So basically they're saying we're not going to be speaking, he's not going to be speaking because y'all again are a bunch of state actors and we're fucking done with your shit. Basil is cleaning his ears right now. He's sitting on the bed, he just jumped up here and he's cleaning his ears, which I find adorable. So don't show me my history on here, but I'm pulling up the news conference now. Now I haven't seen this. CONFERENCE. I haven't seen this, but keeping in mind everything that we just hear, how basically his attorneys were like, y'all are a bunch of state actors. Y'all are full of shit. Y'all didn't let us present a full defense. We're not even fucking with y'all. We're just ready to move on to the appeals process because that way we can present a true, an actual defense. You know, I think it's funny. Hopefully that'll pull it up. I misspelled it. This is the one I saw. So we'll start here. This is their local news channel too. 13 WTHR is their local news station. So let's see what they said. I've heard rumors say that he got 130 years. And again, I question, did he get, I want to know, did he get charged for all 4 counts of murder? Because they cited statutes and other court cases stating you can't do that. So again, that's really going to tell me if they did it anyway, that's going to tell me how deep it is and how bad these state actors are really doing things, as if I didn't already know, but that's going to be interesting. All right. Let's go right here. Right here. Basil's laying down now. Yeah, the paid actors comment was savage, and I am here for it as well. I hope that it's loud and we can hear. The one in New York, we could barely hear. Whew, you got a pimple on the side of your face, sir. Like, that's how close they put it in. Like, dang, back up a little bit. Look at him back.
Good morning. My name is Jeremy Piers with the Indiana State Police. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and for your continued cooperation throughout the course of this trial.
Good morning or good afternoon, Toxic. Thank you for being here.
Also like to extend a special thank you to the Canal Center for allowing us to use their facility today. As we move forward, we remain committed to keeping Abigail Williams and Liberty German at the center of our focus. Their memory has guided us every step of the investigation, and the photo displayed behind us serves as a powerful reminder of why we are here and what this case has always been about. Due to the gag order, it has been some time since we have spoke publicly about this case. Now that the order has been lifted, we're grateful to be here today and speak to all of you.
So now that the gag order is lifted, I wonder if they're going to tell us any information that they have on the situation that makes us feel that Richard Allen really did that. Like, do you have any other evidence other than he might have saw a white van that the psychologist could have possibly told him about? Yeah, the bunny's over here sniffing out, and look who the bunny's in front of right now. That bunny smells all your bullshit right here, mister. I don't like him because of the fluorifiers.
Before we get started, I'd like to introduce to you the speakers. Mike Patty from the families, Carroll County Sheriff Tony Liggett, Indiana State Police Superintendent Doug Carter, and Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McClelland. At the conclusion of their remarks, Prosecutor McClelland will take a limited number of questions, and he has requested that all questions be directed to him.
Real quick, I do want to say that all the families in this case on both sides are victims, and please, keep them in your thoughts and prayers, because regardless of what we think, they're the victims in this case. So, and I couldn't imagine. So remember them in your thoughts and prayers, please.
On behalf of those standing behind me here today, and all those who have dedicated countless hours into this investigation, we thank you all for your continued support. I'd like to introduce to you our first speaker, Mike Patty.
That's Liberty's dad or grandpa. I think it's her dad.
I don't have a nice speech all prepared. It was kind of a last minute thing here, but I really wanted to take the time to send out my appreciation that justice has been served for the girls.
Now, being a victim, I mean, if my child had been, this horrible thing had happened to them, I would go by what the police said and think that justice had been served regardless anyway. So I don't want to attack the family and the family members and things like that. But I don't agree that justice has been served. Personally, if y'all feel it has, you're free to share that here and tell us why. I love to have differing opinions. And Anna, to be fair, I don't know that young man had acne. I was just saying they had it so daggum close you could have told, hey, Badass American, and thank you for being here. Badass informed us that this is her grandfather. Thank you for that. I could not remember off the top of my head. Hey, Anders.
Girls. I want to thank the jurors. Hope they get a chance to see this, that they took time out of their lives and remained open-minded and objective and was able to look at the information and deliver a verdict. For that, I will always be grateful. The community. This community has embraced our families from day one and continues to lift us up and support us. And again, for that, I'll always be grateful. I want to thank them. The investigative team and the prosecution, thank you for staying steadfast and continuing to work towards this. It's been almost 8 years coming. If I live to make it 80, it'll almost be 10% of my life has been spent working on this. And to the judge, I want to thank her as well for her steadfast, staying on course, staying on track, and helping us get through this. Thank you very much. Tony?
Okay, I don't agree with what the judge did. That's just me personally. Hey, Mayla's mom. All right, now the law officials are going to talk.
Good morning.
Hey, need some Z's.
The end of 2016 and the beginning of 2017 completely changed the fabric of Carroll County. We lost 6 beautiful young girls, and all of that happened within a 6-month time span. My office is not a part of the investigation into the Flora fires that's being headed up by the state police. We would do anything that they would ask for us to do, and I know they're working extremely hard on that case as well. Carroll County
I thought he wasn't going to mention the Flora fires. I was about to say, you better not skip over the Flora fires when you talk about the ripping the fabric of your society there. You better include that, but he did, so I'm grateful. Hey, Courtney 614 from Indiana. Thank you for being here.
is a tight-knit community, about 20,000 people. It used to be a place where people didn't lock their doors. I believe that the verdict and the sentencing will help ease some of that sense of security for the people of Carroll County. The people who live here are very resilient. I think you can see that just in the families, the Germans, the Patties, the Williams. Carroll County is an amazing place to live, to work, to raise your family. I want to thank all of the people of Carroll County and the families for their patience during this investigation. I keep hearing the word closure. People are coming up to me saying, I bet that you're glad that there's finally closure. There will never be any closure in this case. The Germans and the Williams family lost their daughters, their granddaughters, their siblings. Justice, a form of justice was served, but it does not bring Abby or Libby back. These families will live every day without 2 of the most important people in their lives. They're missing milestones because of a low-life coward decided to take their innocent lives. They did not deserve this. I
don't think any child anywhere deserves this. Need some Z's, you were saying. I think that what he meant when he brought up the Flora fires was he was basically referencing a rip in the fabric of their society. So he was bringing that up because that is an important, unfortunate event that happened that kind of tore the community apart as well. Need some Z said, anyone in 2024 who doesn't lock their doors are asking for trouble. Lock your doors, people. Absolutely. And hey, Jenny, it's good to see you again.
It's not closure. It is just turning the page and starting a new chapter. My heart is and always has been broken for these families. I want them to know that we stand with them. And I want to apologize to them that it took 8 years for us to get to this point. This case was quite the undertaking for the Carroll County Sheriff's Office. There are so many people that put a lot of time in assisting us with bringing it to a conclusion. You see a lot of them right here, and there are many that aren't standing up here. There are so many agencies to thank for standing by our side. Just to give you an idea of the support that we had just for the trial, we had 36 outside agencies help us for just the security during the trial. On the afternoon of February 14th, at least that many came to help us investigate this case. Everyone from detectives down to dispatchers to help investigate or just to answer phones. I remember a conversation after we found the girls with Jerry Holman about whether or not we were going to take the case or Indiana State Police were going to take the case. Well, it was not my decision. It was not my decision, but I knew we didn't have the resources needed to do this on our own.
Okay, but the FBI comes in to try to help you, and you kick them out. So, kind of confused by your statement there, sir.
Holman made a commitment that if we took the case, ISP wouldn't leave us and they would stand by our side and provide any of those resources that we needed. And they did just that. Tobe Lesenby was the sheriff at the time, and
We're going to get a history lesson. Needham Z says floor fires were also very sketchy. It needs to be investigated. I doubt it will ever be done truthfully, if at all. And I agree. There is a bunch of liars up there. And then real quick, Courtney said, it won't be, there's a lot of stuff about that case that has to do with some of the people from Delphi. Yes, there is. Yes, absolutely. I didn't think they could deny the FBI being able to step in, but evidently they did. They told them to get out because the FBI looked at them like they were crazy when they said it was Richard Allen.
And he asked ISP to stand with us. I want to thank Doug Carter and the rest of the Indiana State Police for being with us during this time. The reason justice was served today was due to one person, a person that only knows how to give. She has given herself literally for free to this investigation in different ways since about March of 2017. Kathy Shank, while filing, scanning, organizing, found a tip that led us to be here today. Throughout this investigation, especially when things happened during the month, for things that happened during the month of 2017, that was a time when Kathy was not helping us. When she would come across something that she didn't know, she would always bring that to an investigator. And every time that she brought us something,
Tasha, I think this is so wrong. Something just doesn't sit well. Getting West Memphis 3 vibes. Absolutely. We talked about when the trial was going on, we did this, and we actually deep dived West Memphis 3 too, because of the similarities between the two. Like, it's astounding. And I needed to check. I haven't checked, but I know the West Memphis 3, they were petitioning to get the DNA tested again. And I need to see what they found from that, because I'm really interested in knowing if they were able to get it tested, and if so, whose hair was on. I think it was Stevie Branch, and the shoelaces that were on Stevie Branch, I think, is where that hair was found. I think it was Terry Hobbs, but that's just me. Going back to this now. Sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack. Yes, please give this live a like and subscribe. Thank you.
and said, "Did you know this?" We knew it, except for the tip that she brought us that got us here today. To borrow a term I believe was started by Becky Patty, a saying that meant enough to me that I had it on a sticker on my computer, in my car, and on my refrigerator at home. The goal was actually to be able to say the words, and they ring true. There is zero doubt that justice has been served, and today is the day. Thank you.
That bothers me about him having the sticker from Patty on his refrigerator at home. Like, are you so determined to get justice that you're not exactly sure you got the right man? Because I need more information. I need more information and evidence tying him to the crime. I'm sorry, that's just me. And like I said, I love to hear differing opinions. I think when we share our differing opinions, you might could make me see it differently, and I might change my mind. There wasn't enough evidence, and I'm with Courtney. Today is not the day. Unfortunately, there's still a killer running around out there, in my opinion.
I had prepared remarks today, but I decided walking in here that I wasn't going to read them. John Perrine reminded me that 2,866 days ago, this entire thing began. I didn't know what I would think, and I didn't realize today we were going to be walking into the same room where many of you were, I believe in, again, from memory, April of 2019 or that time frame. And over the course of these last many years now, several of us, me included, have been mocked and ostracized for our emotion, for our inability to answer questions that you might ask, and the thought that we're something other than human beings. I'm not going to apologize for that.
I don't expect you to apologize, and I don't think you're anything other than a human being. I just question your methods and the way you put these people, the way you accused Richard Allen with the bullet and all of the white van. I just don't. It's not enough.
I often say I wish people could see what goes on behind the scenes, and not just with people dressed like me, but citizens of this county and of this city. It's amazing acts of unbelievable courage and self-service and self-sacrifice. I wish you all could have been in the courtroom today and heard the victim impact statements.
We could have been if you'd have let cameras in. Badass American is saying that the box cutter was not privy. The coroner did not say. Sorry, the coroner never put box cutter in the discovery Allen was privy to. I didn't know that. I might have heard it and don't remember, but I didn't know that. She also says Walla didn't tell Allen about the van. I think she did. I think she questioned him about it. Or it was brought up by her, but I could be wrong. And Badass brings up that Allen changed his timeline 3 times. I think that he did. Was his timeline changed after he was in jail? Allen had years to get rid of evidence. Yeah, and it is weird, to be fair, that he had supposedly several cell phones like that he had always kept, but he didn't have the cell phone from the time period of when these things happened. And I appreciate you guys talking back and forth and being respectful to each other. Mayla's mom is saying too, Badass American, I clearly can't agree with the way you see the evidence, and that's okay. But I believe Gull put an innocent man behind bars for 130 years today. And I agree with that too. And I appreciate us all being able to share our thoughts and opinions respectfully. I really do. Y'all are really amazing for that. Anders said Jerry Holman said the tool marks on the unspent round was as convincing as a paternity test. Yeah, but they didn't even test the spent round. Like, they didn't even compare spent round to spent round. It was spent round to unspent round, which was by the news station stated like comparing apples to oranges. Hey, Robin, and thank you for being here.
I'll always remember them. And I hope you'll get the transcripts and and read what was said and try and understand the context of those words, even though you weren't in the courtroom. Over the course of these last many years, there have been many investigative strategies. Any notion of a cover-up, any notion of us deciding the outcome of this, any notion of any connection to anything else is not correct. It's not correct. I've never been a detective in my entire lifetime, but I get to represent.
But, and I don't mean to keep pausing it, but I could believe you more when you say that it's not correct if you gave me more things to go by, if you gave me more evidence that I could pinpoint and know for 100% fact that, you know, this ties him to this specifically, like some DNA, I mean, because you're not going to go do something like that in the middle of the woods and not leave any DNA whatsoever. I need more from you, Mr. Carter. Lemon Lime said, and thank you for being here. People that went to the trial said his voice sounded like Bridge Guy. We, the public, haven't heard his voice. Really? Yep, that's another good point. Real quick, Badass said, Kathy, during her husband's interrogation, you didn't tell me you were on the bridge. He only told Kathy he was on the trails. Oh, that's another good thing to point out. I did not know that. Yeah, thank you guys for being so respectful. Need some Z's said if they aren't sealed by gold, trust and believe hundreds of people are likely going to get the transcripts. I'm going to try to. And then real quick, Mayla's mom said something important. They spent $4 million on the case, but refused to spend $10K on height analysis. They also had, I think it was this one, 72 hairs from the crime scene that had not been tested at the time of the trial. That blew me away. I was like, why would you not test that? You're going to trial. Like, why would you not have already tested that, if I remember correctly? The very, very weird thing to say after conviction and sentencing. Very defensive, in my opinion. Absolutely.
Some of the best on the planet Earth. And I listened to them intently. And when they made strategy decisions associated with what the next steps would be, my job was to support them. And I stand by those decisions, every single one of them. The gag order. We lived by that. We lived by that gag order. The defense did not. And it cost a human life. Anybody that shares those photographs of those two little girls should be held accountable, whether they're in the public sphere, whether they're emailed to you, whether you found them in a place you didn't want them to see. I hope that if you ever see them, you'll picture your own children as Abby and Libby. I'll never forgive that. I will never, ever forgive that. We lived by the gag order. Documents were released from the defense that drove a public narrative that many of you talked about. And damn it, I wish I could have responded.
Badass, I need to do that. I haven't FOIA'd this one. I've got several FOIAs out right now, but I do need to FOIA that. And it might make me change my mind. Like I said, you know, y'all sharing your thoughts and opinions in the chat, you never know. You might make somebody change their mind. And the fact that y'all do it so respectfully is really amazing, because you're not going to make somebody change their mind by being mean and hateful. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate everybody sharing their thoughts and opinions on this case. It's controversial. So y'all are really doing a great job by being nice and respectful to each other, and I appreciate it.
But I was not going to violate what Judge Gall said. So they were able to get these documents out there and create a public narrative that you and many others, many of you and many others believed around the globe. Baldwin and Rossi are responsible for that, not this team.
This is some wild gaslighting. It really is, though.
Family effects. I think you'll see the words that were spoken by the folks that spoke today about their lives and how they've been forever changed, how they'll never be the same, and they said it in ways that were beautiful in some kind of a mysterious way. There's an attorney in Indianapolis by the name of Guy Relford. And I heard Guy on the radio after the verdict.
Lemon Lime said, terrible investigation, but I do feel they got the right guy. See, I mean, that's, I like the way you said that. I don't personally, but I like the way you said that. Badass said servers go down all the time. And data is lost, talking about the lost interviews. Yeah, there was a lot of deleted interviews though.
When a lot of hate mail came, death threats came. And I heard Guy Relaford say that day on the radio, and I called him 15 minutes after he said it. And after 40 years in this business, I never thought about the jury's perspective. But he said the only people that mattered in that courtroom was the jury. And he went on to talk about, he's a very bright attorney. He went on to talk about what they can see that we can't, that you couldn't. They could see the defense. They could see the state. They could see the witnesses, feel the emotion, and they could see Richard Allen. I've never thought about that perspective because we have a singular view most times. You, me, it's human nature.
Bad girl. No, they lost all the first interrogations they did. They lost them. They were written over or whatever. And there was like supposedly, if you want to go down the Odinism trail, there was some interviews of some people that were like really suspicious, and they were all of a sudden lost and written over on like the DVR or whatever they use. So I mean, it's just suspicious. And I mean, to be fair, like Badass said, a power surge can wipe out data unless you have a backup disk. But I would think, being the police station, it would have, a way to back it up. Needs some Z's says that he's being sick and disrespectful, or it's sick and disrespectful for Carter to blame the defense team for Fordson ending his life. That's 1000% false. Allen's car would track his movement. It would. Yeah, I'm just listening, looking at y'all's. I'm trying to highlight them so everybody can read them because I can't stop. But y'all are saying some really good, important things.
Judge Gall was the keeper of the peace in that courtroom, but the people that mattered were those 12 jurors.
I agree with
And
that.
we have a system of justice that allows them to decide the fate of a human being. That's what our founders had established. And that's what they did. I hope you all understand that what you say and how you report matters more than you can ever possibly comprehend. This is an opportunity for us to all learn about what social media is and isn't, what we should do and what we shouldn't.
I mean, I agree that the way you report something you saw, like, I saw a man walking down the road. Like, if I'm on social media and I say, hey, y'all, I saw a man walking down the road, as opposed to, y'all, I saw a man walking down the road. Like, the way my tone and the way I say it, two different ways, is going to make two different groups of people think two different things. So I do agree with what he's saying right here about that. The way you report things is you're going to let your bias show. You're going to put your feelings and thoughts into it.
And understand that their words have consequences to other human beings. I appreciated Guy's perspective, and it changed my of the criminal proceeding. Richard Allen knew.
I don't think so.
We live in a country where people can hate. People can say.
You mean to tell me this man is so intelligent that he knew to not leave one drop of DNA behind at a crime scene in the middle of the woods that happened within a span of, let's be generous and say 14 hours. But at the same time, he's eating his own feces in prison. Like, he's either a criminal mastermind, the likes of which we've never seen, or somebody that's not well. I mean, that's what I think. I hope nobody told you to shut up. I hope nobody said that to you in this chat. I hope not. If that happened, I'm sorry. I hope nobody said that.
Say things about other people. And that's okay. Hate me. It's okay. It's one of the only countries in the world where you can. So hate me if you want to. The investigative collaboration is something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. There's no way we could possibly chronicle it or articulate it or write about it or anything. There's no way we could ever do that.
Okay,
We are human beings, and there were mistakes made. But there was never a mistake made that we knew was wrong when we did it. I'll crawl across shards of hot glass for Jerry Holman. Jerry Holman is not a liar. Jerry Holman gave the last 8 years of his life.
She
something-
wasn't told to shut up. I misunderstood. Lemon Line said, but no one left DNA. Someone killed them and left no DNA. It does happen. It does happen, but there was 72 hairs found there, and they haven't tested them.
Something much greater than himself. We fussed with each other throughout the course of this in conclusion. We argued with each other. I remember Toby and I had an argument right here in this other room in April of 19.
Yeah, like I can't figure out if he's trying to convince us he's not lying or he really isn't lying and is tired of being accused of lying. Hey, Miss Kimmy Akers, thank you for being here.
As you should expect us to. There was no groupthink. We debated each other, as you should expect us to. But then the defense spins it into incompetence. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous nonsense for Baldwin and Rozzi to have done that. And finally, most importantly, to the Delphi community and to the family of Abby and Libby. Words cannot possibly explain what we all feel. But what Nick McClellan did and the rest of the team that was associated with this,
Thank you.
every single time it was about something other than
Oh.
themselves. It was about this community.
I didn't realize I wasn't muted. I'm sorry if I screamed in y'all's ears asking the kids to bring me a Red Bull, and I'm sorry y'all heard her. I try not to let that happen. And you're right, Rex Heuermann did kill for years and left no DNA. There was a few hairs found here and there, but he had a whole list. I don't know if you've seen the video, but he had a whole damn file of planning. It was basically a how to commit murder document. It's insane. Toxic, the presser you sent me is the one we're watching right now. Yeah, badass, I see you.
And that family. We owe them a debt of gratitude that can never possibly be
Okay, thank you.
repaid. How about we start to heal now? How about we hit that reset button and understand that justice in this country was served? And if you don't like justice in this country, go do another one.
Well,
Let's heal.
sir.
Tone down the rhetoric. Stop all the politics and all the nonsense and all the conspiracy theories and understand that we all tried the best we could. That should be the message to us and to our kids and to this most amazing place we call the United States of America. Well done. Thank you all.
He said some odd things.
Good morning.
Thanks, guys.
Can we all just have a little bit of a
Right,
sigh of
Andrew.
relief that this thing is over finally? The convictions come in. We've got the verdict. We got the sentence, 130 years in the Department of Corrections. And while I don't think ever this verdict or this conviction will ever bring peace to the family, I hope that they can take this sigh of relief with me to say that this part of the trial is over, that we got the conviction, that we got the sentence that brings justice for Abby and Libby. A few of the things I am going to say are going to echo what Sheriff Liggett said, what Superintendent Carter said, and what Mike Patty said. But I'd be remiss if I didn't thank some people along the way. Law enforcement, Carroll County Sheriff's Department, Indiana State Police, Department of Natural Resources, all the agencies that assisted in this investigation and the prosecution of the defendant, I want to thank. They were attacked by members on the internet for their integrity. They were called corrupt. They were called evil. And they were called liars. And they weathered that storm with professionalism. and did what they could to be a shield for the families. Spent countless hours chasing down leaks of crime scene photos, countless hours attempting to scrub the internet of those crime scene photos.
Again, like, y'all are some type of mad about the crime scene photos being leaked. It's happened before. Unfortunately, I'm sure it will happen again. You're pinpointing the defense because they had a quote unquote, I don't know, I was not there, don't come for me, I was not there, I do not know, I did not see, but quote unquote accidental photo leak. Okay, like, y'all keep talking about this photo leak like you want to persecute them for the photo leak. So I mean, like, why are you so hostile about the photo leak? Yes, it's a horrible thing. It's we don't want to see that. That shouldn't be out here. But at the same time, did you prosecute them, and you were so freaking angry at those defense attorneys in general that you possibly skipped over some evidence or didn't look at it accurately because you're so freaking hostile about the photo leak? Like, I have a problem with how many times they keep talking about that.
And countless hours trying to protect the family as best as they could.
I mean, yeah.
And so to them,
I could see that.
ISP, Carroll County Sheriff's,
Like, I wouldn't want the family to see the photos, but it happens. Badass says, in my opinion, defense should be disbarred as attorneys. Oh, wow. So what makes you think that? So do you think that it's because of the photo leaks? Do you think it's because of the quote unquote conspiratorial theories? Like, what makes you think that? Lori, this was today in Delphi. I think it was on at 11:30 this morning my time, and it's 2:30 here right now. This is after Richard Allen's sentencing.
Sheriff's Department, DNR, the other agencies that assisted, thank you. We would not be here today if it were not for your efforts
You're welcome.
and your countless hours that you sacrificed away from your family and your friends to give us the evidence that we needed to get the conviction. I want to thank my team, Stacy Diener, James Luttrell. There is no way I could have tried this case without them.
So you say they leaked them deliberately is why, to use the Odinism angle, the sticks on the body. Okay. I could see how you could think that and feel that way. I politely and respectfully disagree. I do think there's an Odinism or at least a tarot card aspect to the crime. But I do understand how you could see that, and I respect your opinion. Thank you for sharing that with me. Why is nobody talking about Purency? He was murdered. I don't know about that one. Unfortunately, I probably should have looked more into this. I don't know about that right now. Oh, really, Lori? That's so awesome. Well, thank you guys. I saw that Reddit had posted about my channel a couple of times. You guys are super sweet. Thank you. I'm gonna FOIA everything that I can, as long as it don't cost too much.
We spent countless hours working on this case, away from our families, away from our friends, and no one will understand the heart and the effort that they poured into this. So thank you. I want to thank Kathy Shank. She kept us well fed. She was the grandmother of our office, if you will. She made sure that whatever we needed, she took care of, and she never complained. And without her, we would not be here. Without her countless hours of going over filings, of scanning in documents.
Lindsay said the defense did not release the photos. It was a separate man who used to work for Baldwin, still would come to the office to do some things. He snuck in the office, took the photo, and leaked them. Okay, I thought he was currently working for them at the same time, so thank you for letting me know. And you're telling me he was the FBI agent that came up with the its theory. Also, wait to FOIA until after the defense orders the transcripts. Right now, it's $5 a page. Okay, thank you.
Looking at reports and having the wherewithal to bring this to the attention of Sheriff Liggett, to say, hey, I haven't seen this before. Has anybody followed up with this person? Without her, we would not be here. Without her, we would not have an arrest, a conviction, and a sentence. She was the key part to this investigation, the needle in the haystack, if you will, that brought this investigation to a close to where we could make an arrest. Kathy Shank, I thank you. And finally, the family, the Williams, the Germans, the Patties. Thank all you guys. The support you gave me throughout this, those times when I said you had to abide by the gag order, that you wanted to respond to the things that were being put out there, the allegations against you, against your family members, that you respected me to the point where you were willing to agree to abide by that gag order for the betterment of the case. The fact that you supported me throughout it, and I know there may be times you doubted, but you endured. And without your help, we wouldn't have got the conviction. And without your victim impact statements and the graceful words that you gave to.
So yeah, they're just, I mean, really, like Indy said, is this a presser or a congratulations speech? And I mean, yeah, they're just really excited and happy about this. And I mean, my issue is, if he's the one who did it and you convicted him and we know 100% that he's the one who did it, fine, great, fantastic. I'm glad that this monster was put behind jail, okay? But my issue is that you can't expect a jury to make an informed decision without all of the evidence. And they withheld a lot of evidence in the trial. And that's, where I stand on it. Like, if you're going to ask the jury to make a decision on a person's the rest of their life, you've got to give them all the evidence. They've got to be presented everything. Whatever they find from that is whatever they find, but you can't withhold shit. And that's just how I feel about it. Hey, Hazel Eyes, and thank you for being here.
To the court about how this has influenced your lives, we wouldn't have got the sentence that we got. 130 years, maximum sentence on each count. And so I thank you. Finally, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Abby and Libby themselves. Libby, for recording the defendant as he walked across the bridge.
Y'all, I was about to have a whole entire meltdown. I thought he's about to thank them girls for what happened. Like, I was about to reach through my screen and smack this man. But I do appreciate the fact that she made the recording, even though it was AI enhanced and you really couldn't see anything from the recording. She did at least get his voice. I think we can all agree on that. So I do thank her for doing that. But I was about to smack the damn toupee off this man.
Having the wherewithal to
Hey,
pull out
Mima.
her phone and record that individual, having the wherewithal to know that something wasn't right. Arguably the biggest piece of evidence that we had, that recording of their killer. And then to Abby for hiding the phone from the killer so that he couldn't take it with him, hiding the phone so that law enforcement could find it and get that piece of evidence that Libby had collected. Without the efforts from those two little girls, we wouldn't be here today. So Abby and Libby, thank you. I want to say we're very happy with the jury's verdict. We're elated with the judge's ruling.
Mima said, it's not justice if you have the wrong man, in my opinion, and I completely agree 100%. If the jury finds him guilty and they've been presented all the evidence, then I'm with you. I agree. Put the monster behind bars, but you can't make a decision if you're not given all the evidence. And I think they knew if they gave all the evidence, they would figure out that Richard Allen didn't do this. That's just my opinion, though. And I appreciate those of you that disagree with me and other people in chat sharing your thoughts respectfully with each other. You guys are doing a really great job of that. Thank you.
Not the judge's ruling, the judge's sentence. The sentence is appropriate. As Judge Gall stated in court, the aggravators outweighed the mitigators, and the heinous nature of this crime deserve a fully executed sentence.
Right, Indy?
I'll end with this. I want to thank the media for keeping this case in the forefront, for keeping the tips coming in for us to investigate. But I will leave you this word of caution. Please, as Superintendent Carter said, the crime scene photos are still out there. And more may be out there in the future. Please, if you receive those, delete those. Don't forward those on. Don't re-victimize the family and the other family members. You can write whatever story you want and report however you want. You do not need those crime scene photos to do so. All it does is re-victimize the families and hurt the reputation of Abby and Libby. So please, if you get those, do not forward those on. If you get any other crime scene photos or autopsy photos or anything, don't forward those on. As Superintendent Carter said, imagine if they were your kids, your grandkids. You can write a story without having those pieces as part of the narrative. So please, do not forward those on. I want to thank the community finally. Everybody in the community locally has supported my office, supported law enforcement. The show of support for
I mean, again, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but like it sounds like he just won an award, like an Oscar speech. I want to thank my producers. I want to thank the fans because without you, this wouldn't have been possible. I want to thank my supporters who have been there since day one. I want to thank my producer. Like, it's weird.
support from them has been just unforgettable. I appreciate everything everyone's done. I appreciate the prayers. I appreciate the handshakes, the support, everything that everybody's done throughout this course of the 8-year investigation. When this investigation started, I was actually the defense attorney.
No, I did not know that, Badass American. Do you know where I could find that to validate that? Because I'm not saying that I don't believe you at all. I would like to see where we could validate that because I'd never heard of that. Hey, Itchy, thank you for being here. Yeah, let me know where you found that. So I would love to see that for myself, and I'll share it. If you can tell me and I can like validate it, I will share it on a community post because I do try to get all the information out for, you know, both sides in an unbiased way. He is gloating.
I ran for the prosecutor's office in January 1st of 2018, and I knew coming into that office that this case was one that I would have to investigate. And I made it one of my goals, not only to investigate it, but to get an arrest, have the trial, and get a conviction. And all the support I had throughout that time, I appreciate it. And so, as Trooper Pierce said, I'm going to answer a few questions. The gag order is lifted. You're more than welcome to talk to anybody up here individually afterwards if they want to talk to you. But I will take a few questions here and now.
Yeah. I can't even hear what they're asking. Again, I would have to see proof of it. Like, I'll try to pull the documents and FOIA request, Badass. I need to see proof of it because if I see proof of it, like I said, I'll definitely put it out to try to show both sides. But I do need to see proof of it because I've seen proof of most of the other things I've mentioned by not necessarily firsthand proof, but hearing the lawyers that have YouTube channels talk about evidence that was presented during the case and stuff is what I'm going on. And of course, some of it's going to be biased, but I've never heard those things. So yeah, if you can find me proof, I would love to share it.
It's not easy. It's hard to put yourself in their shoes because I've never had a child die. And so it was very difficult. It took a lot of phone calls, text messages, meetings. A lot of it was, hey, try not to read that stuff that you see on the internet, which is easier said than done. But a lot of it was just moral support and leaning on each other to say, we can't violate the gag order. Let's keep our eye on the ball. We need to get the trial and we want to try to get the conviction and then we can talk. And so it was just a lot of words of encouragement between each other, moral support, text message, phone calls, those kind of things. Go ahead. It wasn't a fight. She was just commenting about some things that were said at sentencing, and I'm just going to keep those things to myself. Well, I don't know if she got up in my face. I'll just keep those things to myself. She was just commenting on things that were said at the sentencing. Yes, ma'am. Well, it's not up to the defense. It's up to the defendant. I'm not going to repeat his name. He's the defendant at this point. And so he has 30 days to file notice with the court that he wants to appeal. If he doesn't file that notice, then there is no appeal. And so once he files that notice, we'll deal with it accordingly. We'll work with the Attorney General's office to represent the state, and we'll give them whatever support that they need in order to draft a response to that appeal.
To be fair, Badass said, Alan lived in Mexico City where Jordan Soper went missing and later found by a mushroom hunter. Alan said he went to Monon Trails to fish a mushroom hunt. To be fair, I'm not going to tell you where I live, but I live in a place where people go missing every day. And you'd be hard pressed to find a day that I wasn't in the woods mushroom hunting or gathering medicinal herbs. So, I mean, it could be said about a lot of people. Like, I'm definitely not out here committing murders or anything. But I am out here mushroom hunting and things like that. I mean, just not to upset you, just to, give for a comparison, you know what I mean? So a lot of people, I mean, that could be said about a number of people, I would say.
I feel confident in the verdict and the sentence. But again, I'm not on the Court of Appeals, so they'll have to make that decision if it comes to them. Sorry, Ms. Well, at this point, we don't believe any other actors are involved. We don't have any evidence to support that. If evidence comes out in the future to support that, we'll obviously investigate that. We're not going to say, hey, no, we got the conviction. We're not listening to what you have to say. But at this point, we have no other evidence showing that any other actors were involved. If Richard Allen himself, the defendant, wants to come forward and give us more information, we'll gladly accept that. The amended charges were we added the 2 counts of intentional murder. I did that because I thought it was appropriate at the time. Yep. Hold on just a minute. Do you have a question?
Tiffany and Natasha, thank you for being here.
Can you tell us, or maybe after you speak on behalf of other people, how it makes you feel with the guilty verdict and the sentence? Obviously, it's down to you guys want it, but how does it make the entire team feel to get to where we are today?
I think, I hate to speak for everybody, but I think, I hate to be cliche and use the word justice, but justice, vindication, to show that these people standing behind me weren't liars, weren't corrupt. Those hate mails and hate messages continue to come in from some podcasters, some YouTubers, but I think just justification that, okay, we conducted a clean investigation. We presented the evidence as best we could, and the jury were convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that he was guilty. Yes.
Does this now mean that all the other men are cleared? Can you use that word?
Who is all the other men?
Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. I'm going to back that up just a
justice,
smidge.
vindication, to show that the people standing behind me weren't liars, weren't corrupt. Those hate mails and hate messages continue to come in from some podcasters, some YouTubers. But I think just justification that, okay, we conducted a clean investigation. We presented the evidence as best we could, and the jury were convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that he was guilty.
Okay, but you didn't present all of the evidence. You didn't have the hairs tested. I have so many problems with that statement. And again, I mean, I hate to say it like this because there's a lot of things going on the internet right now, but you're getting mad at the internet for interneting, right? Like you put this information out, the public gets a hold of it. Of course, they're going to speculate, make theories, and come up with their own conclusions. They're going to put evidence together and try to figure out the puzzle. You drive down the road and go somewhere, and the internet does what it does. It figures out where you went and you get upset. You take a picture of your house and put it on the internet. The internet does what it does. Your address is out and you get, I mean, that's what the internet does. So you can't get mad at the internet for interneting.
Yes.
Does this now mean that all the other men are cleared? Can you use that word?
Who is all the other men?
The other men that were looked at during the course of the investigation that you always said you couldn't say.
You could tell he's mad right now. The way he said, who is all the other men? I'm assuming she's asking about the other men that they looked at other than Alan.
Can you now say
I may not use that word clear, but what I can tell you is we don't have any other evidence that ties them to the offense at this time.
Toxic, I mean, not toxic, Bass, I'll work on finding that for you. Check my community post later today because I'm not going to have time to find it while I'm live, but I will find that for you and show you the receipt of that, the 72 hairs. I'll work on finding that between today and tomorrow, and I'll make a community post to show you because just like, I'm asking you for receipts, I'll give you receipts as well.
What do you mean looking into the Anthony Schatz profile?
Oh. Anthony Schatz. Where's my pen?
Well, it didn't fade it out. He was convicted of what, 34, 35 counts? Not that we have any information of that right now.
Can you speak to the timing of today's sentence? Christmas is 5 days away. This is an emotional time of year for a lot
Sure.
of folks when you've lost people and this kind of thing.
There's no significance in my mind to the timing. Once a person is convicted, they have a right to be sentenced within 30 days. And so I think the timing just was to try to get it in before the holidays because a lot of people do have time off and and the courthouses are closed. So there's no significance in my mind to the timing, but that it worked in everyone's schedule.
I just mean that it's the time of year when people are with people they love. These two little girls are not with their families today.
I'm not sure I understand your question, but yeah,
Bad girl, do you know where we heard that? I know it was during the trial, like they stated, because it was stated during the trial and we heard it on a trial recap, but I need to find that so I could let her know where it was. If you guys know where that's at. I agree that this case in trial, there has been a miscarriage of justice. And that's just how I feel. And Bad Girl thinks the jury voted guilty and that's how she feels. She feels that he's guilty. And again, I just appreciate the fact that we can all talk about it and be respectful. Because, while I don't agree, I'll be honest with you, while I don't agree with that, I don't think that he's guilty. I don't think enough evidence was admitted. Badass thinks there was, and I can see her side of it as well. Just like, with anything, I could see, maybe that's what makes me different. Like I could see and understand why you could think the way you do, even if I disagree with it and I think the way I do. Well, you have to remember that we're going to look at things differently because we're all different people with different life experiences, different traumas and all of that thing. So therefore, we're obviously going to look at things in a different light. And just because I don't see it from the light that she does doesn't mean that, I can't understand why she thinks that. You know what I mean? So I appreciate y'all being really respectful.
Regardless of the time of the year, I imagine it's hard for the family to not be with the victims any day, whether it's somebody's birthday or somebody's anniversary, the other holidays we have out throughout the year. Christmas is probably especially difficult. Again, I don't expect this verdict or the sentence to bring peace to the Patties, the Germans, or the Williams. I don't know what at this point could ever bring peace to a family member that loses a child or a parent that loses a child. What I hope is what I said. I hope it's a sigh of relief that this portion is over and that the conviction as it is now stands and that he's been sentenced to the maximum possible sentence. I hope that is a sigh of relief for them. And I hope that they now, like Superintendent Carter, can continue to heal and start to put this chapter behind them. That's why the plea to the media, please do not recirculate those pictures, because all that does, as Mr. Erskine said in his victim.
So I heard that Tony Klein had passed away too, but then I was told when we were talking about it, when I deep dived this case, that he might not have been deceased yet. So I'm not sure if I can, I looked for it just now on Google, but I don't see anything. So I'm not sure. It might be in in one of the jail interviews with Keegan. He might have talked about it. Yes, Elvis Fields did confess to the murder. Elvis Fields said, if my spit is found on one of the girls, but I can explain it away, basically would I get in trouble? That's really interesting. I have a video on that. There's a Delphi playlist in my playlist section that you guys can look at. And there's a video from Criminal Network. Criminal Network put out a lot of information about this. But yeah, absolutely. Elvis Field said, if my spit is on one of the girls, but I can explain how it got there or why it's there, would I get in trouble? It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Victim
He-
impact
yeah, to
statement.
be fair.
It's like a scab or a wound that scabs over that is constantly ripped open. It's a constant reminder that our loved ones are put in this vulnerable position.
He is, to be fair, badass.
My opinion is if the Indiana code allows criminal charges to be pressed for those kind of thing, if something comes in my office, criminal charges will be pursued if the criminal code allows it. Well, he can ask some questions after we're done here. So
And to be fair, he was Mayla's mom. Richard Allen was also when he confessed. Yes, need some Z's. After we watch this, I'm going into the CSA images where they tell Jennifer Soto they hit her with the CSA images in the description of what the image was. So trigger warning, but yeah, that's what I'm going into next.
I'm not going to concede that. No, go ahead.
Yes.
Sure.
Your take from your professional perspective, you fight other cases. I'm sure you've watched it throughout the case. What's your reaction now to that?
It's hard for me to see him because the way we were seated, especially during the trial, we were kind of all crammed. We call it the well. We're kind of all crammed in there. So it's kind of hard for me to focus on him. And the way I try cases is I'm pretty focused on what I'm doing, and I try not to get sucked into the reactions of other people. I like to watch what the jury's reactions to certain things are. And so a lot of the stuff that she commented on, I didn't see from him. What I did notice from him is what I said in my sentencing recommendation, just the lack of remorse and the lack of regret, the lack of emotion, I guess, when the images of the victims are put up on the screen.
I mean, but if he didn't do it, he's not going to have remorse. He's on, y'all were talking about Haldol. Haldol is an extremely strong medication. It's stupid strong. I mean, yes, it's as strong as Thorazine. Like, so you'd be hard pressed to show any type of emotion when you're on medications that are that strong.
You know, as a father, when I see those things, and you've probably seen me up here and other places, I get a little emotional about it, and it's hard not to. And so the lack of those things kind of struck me. I didn't see him roll in the eyes of the judge, of course, but obviously never a good thing to do. So those are my comments on that. Oh, just one more, then I'll be good. Yeah, sorry.
What piece of evidence, like from the demeanor to any part of your case, what piece of evidence do you think did it for the jury and then to also elicit this maximum sentence? What do you think got us here?
Oh gosh, I don't know what did it for the jury. I think it was a culmination of everything that we had. I think once you start stacking that evidence against him, and as it stacks up, it's hard to say that the defendant isn't bridge guy. And
Okay, need some Z's. This is about 2 more minutes long, and you're perfectly fine. I do appreciate you being here. And yeah, don't ever stay if it's gonna mess with your mental health. Please do what you need to do to protect your peace. And thank you.
And if you can accept that he's bridge guy, you can accept that he's the killer. And that to me is the bottom line. And so
If you have a message for Richard Allen, you could talk to him face to face right now after all this has been said and done, what would you say to him?
I think I would just echo what the superintendent said and what Sheriff Liggett said and some of the things that were said by the victims' families at court. If he truly wants to apologize to the families and admit to what he's done, now's the time to do that. So
I don't think so.
I believe so. Well, I think it's safer in the sense that people can have that sigh of relief to say, okay, we got the guy, we got the conviction. And so I think in that sense, it's safer. I've always thought I was born and raised here in Carroll County. I left, of course, to go to graduate or college and law school, but then I came back. And so this has always been my hometown. It's been my hometown for 3 generations or 4 generations in my family. And so I've always thought it's a safe place. And the things that Sheriff Liggett said, the thing that the victim said, and the sentencing, that wasn't fluff, that we didn't lock our doors and that we knew everybody else. Those are true statements. This is a traditional, small, Midwestern town. And so I think it's always been safe. I think there can be that pressure off of people now to say, okay, I feel better. We got the guy, we got the conviction, and we know he's going to be in prison for 130 years. So
that'll be it for the questions today and for the press conference. I would just like to say thank you for all for coming out. As you go about your day, please remember the most important part of this entire thing, and that's the two girls that are behind us today. So as you go about your reporting,
Please remember all the victims in this case, yes, and say a prayer for them tonight.
please do that and have a safe trip home. Thank you.
All right, so that was that. I'm ready for the appeal. I want to see the appeal. I want the appeal to be televised. I want a new trial. I want all of the things. I want a new trial, and I want all of the evidence presented. That's all I ask. Like, if the jury still finds him guilty after you present all of the evidence, then hey, he's guilty, lock him up. 130, 556,000 years. I don't care. But I just have a problem with not admitting all of the evidence. So we're going to move on that. I'm doing like a kind of a dual stream today. We're going to jump into Jen Soto and the CSA images. Now we're going to listen to the police narrative. No, we're going to listen to the audio recording, and then we'll talk about the police narrative and what it says. Because I want you to hear what photos she's seen, what photos, Lord have mercy. I want you to hear what the photo was that she has presented. So we're going to listen to that part where they show her the photo. And then we're going to go to the police narrative that describes what's in the photo and what the cop is thinking at the time.
013 today.
While this interview is going on, and we're going to talk about that, and we'll probably listen to the reaction again and gauge it. Because I have a big problem with this interview. Her reactions are not that of a mother who just learned that this man has been abusing her child for so many years, right? Like, it's not accurate. It's not acceptable. I can show grace to the Germans and the Williams because in their mind, they really do think that Richard Allen is guilty. And so does, the whole town. And I can show grace to that if you feel like he's the one and he's behind bars. I can completely respect that. Jen Soto, I don't have any grace for her at all whatsoever. Not at all. I don't think that there's any possible way you could not have known that this was going on. I understand she was on a lot of medication, but I'm sorry, it couldn't have been that much medication that you didn't know what was going on. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Is February 28th, 2024. Times approximately 15:49 hours. Detective Acosta, located at Central Operations, conducting an interview with Jennifer Soto, and President is Detective Killies.
Are we going to the budget family?
Most likely.
Okay, that hasn't started yet?
I'd have to check. I do not know. I've been out here.
I would take you up, Toxic, but I don't drink. Thank you.
Doing okay? Going up all right?
Oh,
No, I know.
in the Allen case, there were tips called in about people. But what she's talking about is like there was a poster of Bridge Guy, like the sketch, in the CVS and at the bar that he went to. And nobody said, hey, that looks like you, hey, that looks like the guy up at the CVS and things like that. So that's what she's referring to.
See where he's at. I'm not
Yeah, you should be ready. I just gotta.
Oh, that's sweet, Toxic.
Which
So they're walking around right now, getting ready to do the interview. I wish I had a video of this, but I don't. I want to see her reaction, but we'll see her in the next interview that we talk about. And this is a 2-hour interview, so we're not going to get through all of it today. We'll finish it off tomorrow.
Over here.
You're right. I mean, to be fair, yeah, that's accurate, badass. This is the one where they tell her, I want to speed it up. This is the one where they basically tell her that Stephen has been abusing Maddie since the age of at least 8. And we're gauging her reaction to it because once she reacts to the image that they show her, we're going to go read the police narrative and get an idea of what he was thinking. And we're going to get a description of the actual photo she saw. They showed Jen, and then we're going to gauge it again. And then, give our reactions and thoughts and opinions on this interview. Mainly her reactions, because we can't see her, but we can hear it, in her voice. And you can tell a lot by the way somebody speaks. You can hear sadness, happiness, fear, anxiety, all of those things in someone's voice. So we're kind of gauging those reactions through her voice right now. No, I don't think it's that one yet.
You can see where I remember.
I was like, this is my video.
So like I told you, my name is Detective Police of the Sheriff's Office. This is
Detective Costa.
you're Jennifer, correct? And then I'm assuming, is that what I understand?
Yes, but he's actually on his way to Florida.
Okay.
So this is before Stephen. No. This is before her videotaped interview. I think this is, yeah. Okay. So when this is happening, they have Stephen in the other interview room. And I think this is when he falls asleep for like 2 hours. Then after this, they go interview Stephen. And then the next day is when they come back and talk to Jen. And that's the one we have where she's on video. Like, this is my video. Didn't nobody copyright strike me. I can play my own shit. I don't know why it's not loading. Weird. Hello.
He recently moved back down in December to Northport, Florida.
Okay.
His dad had offered him a job, but it fell through.
Okay.
So he's kind of stuck down.
Gotcha.
We are waiting for, he used to work at Disney.
Okay. What did you do at Disney?
He worked in attractions at Epcot.
Okay.
And
we have to wait. What was the job that his dad was trying to get him? Do you know?
It was like,
yeah, messages are disappearing. My chat is messed up. There's something going on with YouTube or StreamYard or possibly even both. Like, again, I can't access my lives, and I've been working on that today. That way I can't pin comments. Evidently, when you have memberships, you can give away memberships every month. I haven't been able to do that because I have to access my live while I'm live, and I can't do like if I go on YouTube right now, it doesn't show that I'm live. It just shows me my channel. Before I got YouTube Premium, it would show me that I was live and I could access it. So there's weird stuff going on. I'm sorry.
construction manager or like an assistant construction manager or project manager, something like that, like an apprenticeship kind of thing.
Okay.
That fell through. So we were waiting, like we have to wait a specific amount of time for you to reapply to Disney again.
Okay.
From when you resigned.
Right.
So we're waiting for that time for him to reapply again so that he can come back up here.
Okay. So how often does he stay at the apartment with you guys?
So he was living with us up until December.
Okay.
And then he's visited us like since December 2 or 3 times since then.
And how long does he usually stay for?
Anywhere from a few days to a week.
Okay. And then he goes back down there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm assuming he stays with his dad when he goes down there?
Yeah.
Okay. How long has he been in town recently?
He got into town Sunday evening.
This past Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. And he was staying with you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then
They redacted that. Hey, Zan. And okay, Indy, it was good to see you. Thank you for being here.
They're very similar. They're both very childish. Like he loves board games, video games, arts and crafts, all that
Right.
stuff.
Okay.
I'm kind of a watcher.
What do you mean?
That statement was weird to me, just like I think it was to the cops too. I'm kind of a watcher. Like, what the hell do you mean, ma'am? Mayla said, I mean, she allowed them to spoon in the bed, and Stefan would sometimes only be wearing boxers. You can't not be that naive, right? Like, it's weird. First of all, I'm gonna have a problem if you're sleeping. Like, I try to be acceptable because, you know, children sleep with their parents even up to older ages. None of my children were in the bed with me after the age of like 4.5 or 5. They had to get out because they start kicking, and I can't deal with the kicking stuff. So they was out of my bed by the age of 5. Like, when they're babies, of course, I had them in the bed with me. You shouldn't do that. I advise you not to do that. But I sleep light enough that I could feel my child and my children were safe. But after the age of 5, they were out of my bed. And if their biological father was like, yeah, I'm going to, you know, go get in the bed with the child, and you weren't just laying them down for a nap or something, or it was like, you know, usual accepted that you two sleep in the bed together, first of all, I'm going to have a problem with that, biological dad or not. And then, you know, the stepdad laying them, I would have, me personally, I'm not even letting the stepdad lay him down for a nap or anything without me being there. Like, we can both go in there and lay down and take a nap, but you're not going to be alone with my child. You're not giving baths. You're not laying down. And that's just me personally. Like, I don't trust anybody as far as that goes. Now, nothing like that. I know that wouldn't happen. I've just had experiences with people that I trusted 100%, and, you know, so traumatic things happen. So, you know, I'm just overprotected, but yeah, and then to find out 11, 12 years old, yeah, that's a big problem. And you're in your underwear? No, ma'am, I don't believe you didn't know. Yeah, and she did. She texted, I can't risk it. Like, what the hell was
Like,
that?
I won't play the games. I'll watch them play the games.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
be a
I see what
part
you're
of
saying.
it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
But he's more involved with that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty great.
Okay. Do they ever go off on their own? Like, you kind of do your thing and the two of them do stuff together?
Hardly ever.
Hardly ever?
It's, for the most part, it's the three of us doing something.
Gotcha. And then when he stays, does he sleep on a couch, separate bedroom? What's like the sleeping arrangements like?
It depends. For the most part, he would sleep upstairs in the guest room, sleep in my bedroom downstairs.
Okay.
Sometimes he would come sleep in the bed, all three of us together.
Okay.
And rarely ever would I send them upstairs to go sleep alone, away from me, because I need a good night's sleep. Because if we sleep all the three of us together,
Oh, I can only imagine.
it's a king bed, but it's like,
Mayla's mom said, I talked to my husband and gave him a hypothetical, and he said, if I had a daughter and she wanted to sleep with me for some reason, he'd sleep on the couch. And I have to agree, absolutely. Even when the kids were little, my stepkids or my kids, if I was laying down with one of them, my significant other would lay on the couch. Like, why not? You know, usually he'd be in the living room watching TV anyway, and I'd take the little one for a nap. And yeah, I mean, that's the way it is in most households. I want some coffee as well.
it's like she just,
Well, she's not a small baby anymore.
no, she's not. So it's just three humans on a bed is really uncomfortable, really tight.
About how often they would go, you would send them off on their own?
I would say honestly, somewhere between, I'm going to say less than 5 times has this ever happened, right?
That's
It
fine.
hasn't been that
And this
many
is over the
times.
course of him visiting back and forth, correct?
So I've always had a problem with her long pauses. Like, it doesn't take you that long to come up with an answer if it's the truth, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's how I know she's lying, because she's trying to think, like, in her mind, when they ask her a question, she's saying, oh, what do I say to make it sound good? And it takes her a minute to think of that, as opposed to just thinking of what the truth is and giving them the truth, right? Like, because you're trying to hide stuff, right, Abelis? Exactly. I mean, it is all, I mean, it, yeah, her statement, her story, all of it is bull.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
Exactly.
You mean the sleeping arrangements
Yeah.
done alone?
Yeah.
No, that was including him living with us.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
hardly ever would I send them upstairs because I had that rule that she couldn't sleep alone with him. That's just me. I'm just
Right.
very,
And then you said
They redacted that. It's not me.
so you're pretty familiar with him.
Yeah.
Okay. Whose hand does that look like to you?
Yeah, don't put the alcohol aside. Thank you.
Stephens.
Is that Stefan's hand?
Right here.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. So you and Stefan, have you guys been?
So he asked, is that Stefan's hand? And again, I've got the narrative that goes with this, and we're going to talk about it. And the long sides, right? Right, Malis.
Sexually intimate before in the past?
Yes.
So you're aware of what like his penis looks like and things like that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does this look like Stefan's penis to you?
No.
No. Okay. What about that?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that's his penis?
Might be.
Okay.
If anything, it's not even the penis I'm recognizing, it's the things around it.
So it's the things around it that make you believe it's his penis?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have these images, and unfortunately, over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, he's been doing oral sex, vaginal sex, and things like that.
What makes you guys?
We have photos.
Okay.
We have his phone.
So to be fair, like Dan says, how can she be so calm looking at those pictures? I don't know what was in the background that she saw. Like, if she saw a picture of his member and it was in his room, it to be fair and pointed out at all sides, she might not have realized that it was Madeline in the pictures yet. But my issue is when she's shown the picture of Madeline, her reaction. And we're going to hear that in just a second. What, like the sheets, the pillows, the blankets, and if it's upstairs in his room, then she might not have made the connection. Maybe she thinks it's a roommate or something like that. To be fair, do I think that? No, I think she knew the whole time. But to be fair, it could be, she might not have figured out that it was Madeline yet. I have a problem with the reaction when there's, undeniable proof that it's Madeline, and she hasn't been hit with that just yet.
We were able to get into his phone. And there are some very, very unfortunate graphic pictures of him conducting very sexual acts with. I wish I could tell you this was all a made up story, but it's not.
Yeah, he has a pink mark like halfway down the member. And there's a freckle somewhere that they take pictures of and talk about in the documents.
Did you ever suspect anything like this? No? You okay? Okay. Can I get you anything?
Right, Dan? Either way.
Some water? If you want to. Yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
Can't breathe.
Is this a surprise?
Is there?
I can barely hear what her answer is, but if the officers happen to ask, is this a surprise? It's because you're not having the right reaction to being hit with this information.
Photos of her?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you know how we have his phone? Obviously, that's how we were able to find the photos in there.
I don't want to believe that this is true.
I don't want to think that this is true. I don't think she's been showed the picture of Maddie yet. Anders, I've heard that there's pictures of it out. Zaya was talking to Plunder True Crime. If you guys don't know who she is, please go sub up to her. She's awesome. And Plunder sent her over some stuff for me that I need to look at. Plunder is really sweet.
Can I see some of that evidence?
So now she's asking to see
What makes you believe that it's not?
that it's Maddie.
I thought I knew him well enough.
Right, Bayless?
You said you thought you knew him well enough?
So our goal, we want to.
So they haven't showed the picture that actually has Maddie in it, from what I understand, and I'm waiting for that before I grab the document. Bad girl, let me tell you what, if they showed me something like that, they would have to like grab me by my ponytail and slam me down, because I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to punch him in the face, her in the face. I'm going to catch all those charges for hitting an officer, and I'm going to go beat that person's out. Like, you going to tase me? I don't know what you're going to do. Rubber bullets, something, because I'm not going to be sitting there. I'm not. And you're not going to be able to make me sit there. I don't care if all of you sit on top of me. I'm probably going to have abnormal human strength and get through all of you. It's not happening. I'm not. Zaya, thank you so much for becoming a member. You're so awesome and so supportive. Thank you so much. I'll play our clip real quick. If you guys didn't know, Zio got monetized. So if you guys would show her some love, you can become a member on her channel now too. She is in the description box below.
We want to find her. Can you think of anything of where Stefan would take her? Did they have any special hangout spots? Did they have any places that they would do together while you were at work or you had other things going on in your life?
The only place they would go is hang out at home. There's no place I can think of where they've gone outside. I mean, they've gone shopping to like Target before.
Okay. But anywhere else that you can think of? What are you thinking about right now?
How this can be true? How I missed the signs?
What signs are you saying you missed?
No, like I'm just saying, if there were any signs, I didn't see any.
Right. Like these aren't, and I'm not telling you, like, these aren't just Google images that we found. Like, these are actual images. And I don't want you to, I don't. But this investigation has taken us down this road. So wherever you think.
Oh, toxic.
Right now, we want to know so we can go get her safely.
Of course, I just have no idea.
Did Stefan ever take her back down to Newport Richie?
Newport, Florida.
Newport, Florida, I'm sorry.
Sarah, thank you for gifting a membership. That's so supportive of you and sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Y'all are being so supportive today. Thank you. After Christmas, I am gonna try to switch that clip from Polar Express to some kind of crazy train. Oh, Theo, you're so sweet. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. If y'all got a membership from them, please tell them thank you. I'll play it one more time. Thank you, guys. Y'all are so supportive. That's so sweet. Thank you. All right, y'all, don't come for me. That's from Polar Express, and it's the 20th of December. So I think I'm granted that to play that because it's almost Christmas. Gina said the fact that Jen Soto isn't demanding to be able to confront Stephen Stearns about what he did to Maddie is a huge sign that Jennifer Soto is involved, in my opinion. It makes sense when you take into consideration the text message that said, I can't risk it. Yeah, thank you so much for gifting memberships, you and Sarah. Thank you, guys. You guys are so sweet. I don't know if I can get Aussie. I might get copyright, but I'm going to try to get some kind of crazy train sound clip for that.
Alone, no.
Alone? You guys would go together?
Yeah. Or I would drive down. Just hang out.
Okay. So when Stefan would not stay at the house with you guys, where else would he stay?
In his apartment in his house in Northport, Florida. That's it.
So she hasn't been shown the picture that like shows 100% definitively that it's Madeline yet. That's what I'm waiting for. Then we're going to listen to the police narrative and get his thoughts on this whole interaction as it was going on. And the fact that she said, I'd like to see more evidence. Yeah, I don't. She's asking, like, okay, again, to be fair, if we're looking at it from all perspectives and she thinks that they're, for whatever reason, if she thought that they were trying to pin it on Stefan, and she wanted to see more evidence to make sure that wasn't what was going on, maybe is why she asked that. But then you take into account when the next interview she does with her, the next day, where she says the sex stuff wasn't evil, that tells me you 100% knew. So again, I have to question, why were you asking to see pictures the first day if you thought the sex stuff wasn't evil? Because I don't care what you say or how you look at that. That tells me that you knew 100%. How do you become a member? I've tried in the past and can't seem to find it. At the top where it says 5 gifts, if you click on that, you should be able to join that way, or at the bottom chat box, there's like a $sign. It's different on an iPhone though. Mayla said, thank you, Mayla said, if you're on an iPhone, you have to do it from Safari. Thank you, Mayla. Anna said she's Stalin. And then Zio said real quick, if you're on an iPhone, you have to do it from a website and not on the app. Thank you. And I don't know why you keep getting skipped over Toxic, but hopefully you can get one. I would give you one, but they won't let me pick who it goes to.
But when he would visit here, he would always stay in your house. He would never go get a hotel or stay at a friend's house or anything like that?
No, Sarah.
Okay. Why did he go to Newport, Florida this morning?
This morning?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious. I heard a rumor that he possibly went down there.
No.
I don't know. That is maybe lost in translation.
No.
So this was the night after they stayed at the motel, and in the documents that I read, the homicide indictment, they say that they have him leaving and that he went to his mom and dad's house and connected to their Wi-Fi. And then, like, he didn't go in the house, I don't think, but he connected to their Wi-Fi, and I think he also went to the storage unit that night. But they definitely have him connected to his parents' Wi-Fi that morning that everybody else was at the hotel, and that's what they're talking about right now.
No, he didn't. We were in the hotel. If anything, he stepped out to go get some Wawa
Okay.
and then came back.
But how long was he gone for?
Um,
Does he have a new phone since we have his, or?
I think his dad may have handed him a new phone.
Okay, do you know the phone number to that new phone?
No.
Okay. What's his dad do?
Works in real estate. I think he's a broker.
So look, we just need any information. Any.
No, I know, but there's nothing I can give you. There's nothing I can.
Did you communicate with Stefan on the new phone with your phone? No.
Now, again, it doesn't add up for me because, again, I mean, he was gone from like 3:45 in the morning until like, I think he got back at like 10 in the morning. And you didn't know that whole time? Like, I'm sorry. I know when my man gets up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. Like, what? I'm not following. And I mean, that again makes me think she knew what was going on. She knew because I think he went there to get rid of some evidence, some photos, some people he's trading with or whatever. And I think she knew what he was doing and she told him to go ahead and do it. And she's going to play stupid. I mean, again, I just think she's just straight playing stupid with all of this stuff, especially when you take into account, like Toxic said, hey, Shaboogies, how is sex stuff with a child not evil? I will never understand that remark from her, and I will not either. And yeah, I was thinking the same thing. How do you not know his number unless she just stored it in her phone? But, you know, again, I know my husband's number by heart.
I just want to. I believe you. I want to believe you, but I won't believe you until I see actual.
Are you sure you want to see that? I'll go get it. Are you sure you want to see that? Take my word of advice. I wouldn't, blow smoke up your butt and tell you, that's a fake picture. I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't. I'm going to be dead honest with you. I'll be more than happy to show you those images, but I don't know if I would want to see those. But if you want to see them, that's your own prerogative.
Can you tell me what's being done in the photos?
She has a penis in her mouth. And that picture that you said that the stuff identified that Stefan's penis around her, I zoomed in on that photo because in that picture, it's in her mouth.
And that's the picture that's talked about in the narrative. Trying to find it right now in my other video so we can.
Do you need any more water? Are you okay?
I literally thought I was coming here for the press conference, but this is not what we're here for.
I know. And it's unfortunate that, these are the details that we found, but I think it's very important now that we kind of sit back, evaluate everything, and kind of think every step of the way where Stefan has been in the past, where he can be right now, because at the end of the day, we want to go get her.
Yeah, of course. If I knew anything, I would tell you. I just have no fucking idea where you could be.
So I know
she
that.
Could be.
Say again, I'm sorry.
Or any idea where she could be. I said they, but
yeah,
he's here. Was there any the video footage that was caught at the church?
She does, bad girl.
What exactly was seen? I've heard from other people, but I just.
Do you know much?
It looked like someone that walked by, but it's inconclusive right? It was too grainy. The video was not, you couldn't determine who it was in the video, pretty much. So we don't know that she walked by that church. So the last person, Stefan.
Yeah. So we want to know because he's the last person to see her. He claims to have dropped her off at this church before school. Unfortunately,
close to the church.
We're close to the church. You know, unfortunately, we know she doesn't go to school that day. You try and go pick her up. What did after Stefan dropped her off? Did he come back home?
So it seems like she wants to see pictures, but again, like if she thinks they're not accurate in saying that Stefan did this, then she might want to see the pictures to make sure that like it really was going on and he really did do that. But then again, we take into account she later states that she didn't think the sex stuff was evil, so that tells me that you knew. So why do you want to see it? Like again, yeah, I'm with y'all on all that. Gina Marie, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. Gina Marie says, happy holidays to you and yours, allegedly speculating and family. Thank you. And yeah, she's telling the speculating family happy holidays to you guys too. And thank you for being here. I mean, thank you for doing that. And thank you for saying that to the speculating family. That was really sweet of you. That was so generous. Thank you so much, Gina Marie. That was so sweet. Hey, MI Passenger 33, and thank you for being here. MI Passenger 33 says, rumor has it she has herself in either a rehab or hospital to avoid prosecution. I know she went to a hospital right after everything happened, but then I think she got out and did the immunity interview, and now I've heard rumors that she's back in there. Yeah. Zio said, I hope your holiday is full of blessings, Gina Marie, and thank you. Yep. Neesom Z said another man's member wouldn't be better though, even if she thought it wasn't Stefan. No, either way it wouldn't. I'm just saying, like, if you didn't believe that it was actually pictures of Stefan and Maddie, and you're asking to see because you want to make sure that that's actually what was going on and the police aren't like lying to you, because she hasn't been shown pictures with Maddie in it. She's been told there's pictures of Maddie, but she hasn't actually been shown yet. That's what I'm waiting for before we do this other document that I have. But like, you know, if you want to see the picture to make sure that the police aren't lying to you and that this is actually going on and that like you need to see Maddie in the picture, right, to believe it, then why a day later do you say the sex stuff wasn't evil? Like, you can't have both, right? You can't say, I didn't know I need to see a picture because I'm not trying to be rude, but police are corrupt and they'll lie. So I need to see this picture to make sure you're not lying to me, that it is my child. And it's not just a picture of Stefan with the roommate or something. But then the next day say you didn't think the sex stuff was evil. It doesn't make sense. Maybe she thinks that it all got deleted. It's possible.
About how long was he gone for during drop off?
I want to say from 8:30 to like 10:15 because
Zan said, I think she realized her response wasn't right, so she's saying prove it when she actually already knows. That makes sense. Thank you for saying that because that actually does make sense. Gina Marie, we love you and thank you. Zan, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that's actually really a good possibility. Toxic said, this mother makes me so freaking angry. Me too.
around 10:15 or 10:20 is when I got a phone call stating that he got home. He had gone to the vape shop.
Real quick, MI Passenger 33 said her immunity is not full immunity. And yes, that's accurate. It is immunity from prosecution from lying to them before that interview. However, if they find out she lied again, then she is hit, which is why she lawyered up. And yeah, it was limited immunity provided that she didn't lie. And if I remember correctly, she lies in that interview. And we're going to go over that too. So yeah, there's so much. Hey, Gammy, thank you for being here. No. What? I don't know why your comment would be removed. Unless YouTube did it. We didn't remove it. We don't remove comments over here. I've only blocked one person, and like they went on in chat for a long time and were saying some stuff, and I kept telling everybody to be respectful, and then they come back and basically cussed somebody out in my chat very vulgarly. And so that was the only time I've ever removed comments or blocked anybody. Like I'm a very open chat, so I hope that if it did say that, it was YouTube, not us. My mods wouldn't remove chats or anything either.
But I don't know if they weren't open or not yet. So
Mhm.
he left
Okay.
and then hung out around the house and waited till I got back for my doctor's appointment.
So he came back home.
Yeah, he did come back.
Okay.
He grabbed his phone and called me from the house at that point. He had let me know that he accidentally left his phone. He was waiting for the vape store to open, but they never opened, or something like that. And then
Cara, thank you so much. Cara just gifted 5 allegedly or speculation station memberships. Thank you so very much. That was so sweet of you. I'm going to play it again because it's almost Christmas. Y'all make sure to watch Polar Express with the babies this Christmas. That was so sweet of you. Gammy, you don't have to be sorry, honey. It wasn't us, it was YouTube. Or embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed, honey.
he went back home just to give it time, and then he went back out later.
Okay. So from 8:30 to 10:15, that's when he's saying the vape shop was closed and he came back home?
I think so. Something. I mean, I know he was killing time. He does this. He'll just like to aimlessly drive around to kill time. I believe him when he says that he was killing time. Or at least I did believe him.
What's like usually how long does it?
See, that's another thing for me when we take into account that he had the book bag with the masturbation cream in the book bag. The first time I saw that from the very beginning, I was like, why do you have a book bag with the masturbation cream in it? So I question if he was driving around to, trigger warning, I question if he was driving around to playgrounds, school areas, I don't know, and using this cream that he had in his book bag because, it's in his book bag, so therefore pretty handy. Like, I was really bothered by that, the fact that it was in his book bag, and we saw that in the pictures. And if you need me to, I can show that to you, like the picture that's showing that it's in his book bag. I really have a big problem with that. Yeah, yuck, right?
Does it take to go do her drop off and come back?
Like 45 minutes.
Okay. So
45, 50 minutes.
So give or take an hour.
Yeah.
So he should have been back home by like 9:30ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
But then there's like 45 minutes to 30 minutes of a gap in time there.
Yeah.
Where could he have gone?
He says he was driving around aimlessly, just killing time.
Okay. So then he comes home, let's just say around 10:15 is what you're saying.
Yep.
What time did you get home from your doctor's appointment?
Abellis is so sweet.
I'm gonna say somewhere between 11 and 11:20.
And then did he leave again?
Yes.
How do you know he was home? Because you got the call.
Because I got the call and I think I saw him when I got home.
Okay. And then what time did he leave again to go to the vape shop?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure what time he left.
And then
Oh, actually, hold on, let me think.
do you guys have a Ring at your house? A Ring doorbell? Do you have any video doorbell system? Do you have any cameras in the house?
No. I'm gonna say gonna say he left around somewhere between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, because I remember looking at the time going, I don't think he's gonna be done in time running his errands to be back by 2:30 when I need to leave to go.
Okay.
And he said he ran his errands, he stopped at a few comic shops or game stores or something like that. Then he got
I wonder if this is scripted. It doesn't sound that way here, but I can't see her reaction. Bad Girl said, I don't think Steppen wanted Maddie unalived, or am I wrong? I think Jen did it and Steppen got rid of her. It's possible, considering the poem. But I don't know. I mean, I'm waiting for the trial to find out who actually did it. Gammy does have a cute emoji. I'm curious about it as well.
got a flat tire somewhere on 182. He doesn't remember exactly where. I remember him telling me he hurt himself changing the spare tire.
How did he hurt himself?
Something slipped while he was doing something with what's the crank that pops up that brings
The
up-
lifter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
The
about.
jack.
Something slipped and his finger got caught between the frame and the jack, I think. So
Okay.
he had to pull out his finger. So I know he's got a Band-Aid on his finger right now because of that.
Gammy, you colored that. That is so cool. I love it. Basil is laying down over here in the sunlight, relaxing.
So what time do you leave the house to go?
2:30.
2:30?
Yeah, she gets out at 4. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to school, and then I wait about an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, for the car line and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like to be the first in line.
So at what point did you think, something's up?
Around 4:10 when she did not come out of school and I was the first in line. I was holding up the line. I'm the first in line, there's cars behind me and they already have their kids.
Right.
So when I noticed she had not come out, I drove away thinking, maybe I missed her. Maybe I forgot to tell her that I was picking her up from school today because I have a new work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So
What do you do for work again? I'm sorry.
So we're waiting on them to show her the actual picture of Maddie. Yeah. So that's what I'm waiting for. And then I've got it in the other document where it's at, to pull it up. Yeah, that was super sweet, Gammy. Hazel says she knows all about Steppen, but she doesn't know anything about Maddie. Right. Good point you made there.
I work at Walt Disney World, front desk concierge at Coronado Springs.
Okay.
I just recently, that's the biggest reason I even called Steffen was to come help me this week with her getting her to school, helping with the dog. That's the whole reason I even called him was to come help me.
And what car did he come up in from down there in?
In his dad's Cadillac.
All right. So you kind of get some concerns when she's not coming out.
She's not coming out, so I drove off along the same path she would have walked. I didn't see her. She here yet? She goes, no. And I said, oh, maybe I missed her. Maybe.
Does she
still-"
sometimes walk home from school?
Yeah, she does.
To. And then you pick her up from there?
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't make it. So I drove back to.
She didn't make it. Like, why not say she wasn't there? Again, Freudian slip. She didn't make it. Why wouldn't you say she wasn't there when I went to look for her? She wasn't there. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird to me. A weird choice of words. She didn't make it. Because, like, you would say she didn't make it if you could verify that she had started walking there, right? Like, well, she had started to walk there, but she didn't make it. Not, she didn't make it as in that's not what she did. She didn't even attempt to walk there. I mean, I hope I'm explaining that in a way that you kind of understand. Like, I feel like it's more of a Freudian slip. Hey, Chatty, thank you for being here. Yeah, we've a couple of people, Sarah, Zayo, and Kara, gifted memberships today. Yeah, thank you for dropping in to say thank you.
I think at this point I had called her best friend to ask because I went to pick her up from school and I didn't see her.
Right.
And she said, no, she never made it to first or second period.
Okay.
And I was like, can you please check with your other friends to see if she made it to her other periods?
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point
Chatty said, I came to this channel on the recommendation from Duchess, who spoke very highly of you. Duchess is so very sweet. I need to, I want to cover the cases that she did with Chico, but I've got an email out to her right now about a missing person, named Seth Moses. And with the holidays and stuff, I don't know if she's not had time to get back to me yet. But I'm going to try to talk to her again and see if I can cover those as well. Duchess is really great, and she was so sweet to say that.
I emailed her teacher.
Right. Snapchat?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. She just has the Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. So, office, you realize she's not there either. Is this when you go home?
No, I go back to the school to go. So I drive the path again to see if I missed her, and then I go back to the school to check their attendance because her friends are telling me she never made it. But when I got to the school was already closed. So I drove back. I think at this point I had gotten a response from one of her teachers telling me she never made it to my period, and then he checked the attendance for the rest of the day and she never made it to any of her periods.
Gotcha. Okay.
This is when I start to panic and freak out because I know something is wrong.
Yep.
Sorry, I just thought about that image.
It's okay. Take your time.
So she hasn't seen the picture yet. They're waiting on the one to come back. What
was Stephanie's reaction when you?
I called him and I said, she never made it to school. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, she got dropped off. I was like, you dropped her off?
She got dropped off and then tried to fix it. You dropped her off. And there's, that poem. It's on my page in a couple of videos. But yeah, it is a creepy poem. Oh, really? Alex Erickson is super sweet too. I actually emailed her and was asking her about the jail calls because I've tried to get jail calls for people a lot and I can never get them. And because she had gotten those Letitia calls. I'm not covering Letitia, but she was really helpful with that. Alex Erickson is great too.
She never made it to school. I said, please come to the office right now. He goes, okay, I'm heading there right now. So he hauled ass came to the office.
And you're driving your car and he was driving his car?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he made it to the office and then we where she might be. We were both sitting there pretty upset, pretty distraught, just thinking of the worst case scenarios. Eventually we found out that there were also 2 other missing children in the area and that all the cops had gone to a park. So one of my family members went to the park to speak to an officer, to try to get an officer to come back to the office, and he did. And then he took a report. That was about 7:30, I think.
Monday night?
Yeah.
And what's Stefan's kind of demeanor been since then?
He's been absolutely a mess.
Do you think he would ever hurt?
I don't think he would. No.
Okay. Understand.
So you don't think he would ever hurt her, but they've just shown you images where he was abusing her sexually. Like, I'm sorry, if you show me something like that and I legitimately didn't know about it, I would have said something along the lines of, well, I never thought he would have abused her like that. So while I'm going to tell you no, anything's possible at this point because I never thought he would have done that. And we see that he did. You know?
I believe you when you talk to me about those images. Those images might be real or they've happened, but I don't believe they're related to this case. I don't think.
It's been going on. It's been going on. And I wish I could say, it's not.
So he just told her it's been going on since Madeline was 8 years old. Zio, thank you for being a member for 2 months. It's weird that it just showed that you were a new member because it did it to somebody yesterday, and then you come back with the 2 months for a member. I mean, again, it just shows how YouTube's messing up. Zio says, Merry Christmas, chat. Kisses your face, chat, and AS. Zio is showing us all some love. That's so sweet.
It's not true. It's not. I mean, we have images. We have them. I looked at them. This goes all the way back to 2022. Some of those pictures. I understand it's a lot to take in right now. I can only imagine what you're going through, but we need to know literally everything. At the end of the day, like I've told you many, many times, the sheriff's office main goal here, we want to find and bring her back home. That's what we want. But we need your help. We can only do so much. You're with her on a daily basis. You understand.
Natasha said, Maylis always has excellent insights and always shares respectfully, even when it goes against the grain, like our opinions often do, and I admire it a lot. Yes, you guys are also great, and thank you for saying that.
You understand everything. But at the end of the day, we just need to know. Did he make any mention of going anywhere, taking her somewhere when he came into town? I know you said they like to play games together.
No, he didn't mention taking her going anywhere.
Okay. And prior to coming up Sunday, when's the last time he's been here?
I'm gonna say it's been over a month.
Has she ever made any comments to you about sex or anything like that? Being abused or anything like that? Hold on 1 second.
Now she's about to see the picture. Because they had to have somebody from Orange County go and actually get the picture. So now she's about to actually see the picture with Madeline in it. Zio, oh my goodness. You are being so supportive today. Thank you. Wow. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. Thank you. How very sweet of you guys. You guys are all being so supportive today. And Abellis has been a member for 2 months. Abellis says happy solstice and all celebrations. Yes, happy solstice, happy Yule, Merry Christmas. Thank you. That was so sweet of you. And thank you for being here for 2 months. So he just walked out to get the picture. I know you keep missing that train. I'm so sorry. Yeah, she's monetized. Zio is monetized. I dropped her link in the description box. Anna said this is such a cool group of people. Winter solstice is here. Yep. Toxic said, congrats to all the members. And yes, congratulations to all the new members. So right here is the part we've been waiting for as soon as he comes back with the actual picture. Well, I'm happy you're here. Toxic keeps in the train too. I don't know what's going on with it. YouTube hates me at the moment, I think. Mayla, I'm glad you found us.
So there might have been a little bit of miscommunication here, but a Kissimmee police officer detective is going to come speak to you about everything that we just talked about, okay? So they're going to come talk to you with an Orange County detective. So I don't want to go too much further into it with you because they're going to go a little bit deeper. They know a lot more than I do, okay? So they'll be able to explain a little bit more to you. Is that fair? In the meantime, do you need to use the bathroom or anything? It's okay. Take your time. Do you need any more water? Okay.
Are they coming here to interview?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, you're not gonna have to go anywhere.
Well, I thought it was now. It's going to be in a minute when they come in. They're going to show her the actual picture. Sarah has been a member. Oh my goodness. Did they really just fart? Hold on a minute. I'm sorry. I'm being a child right now. What? I think it was the zipper, but how interesting. Sarah has been a member for a month. Sarah says, so happy I found y'all. Love my speculating family. I love you. We love you. And thank you for being here for a month. Yeah, excuse you, sir. What the crap? It wasn't me. I could play it over again. It wasn't me. You need me to roll back that bean footage? That's funny. It must have been his zipper. I don't know. The zipper to like the notebook that he's got it in or something. Oh, that's a good point, Joseph. Joseph says, I think she's so protective of Stefan because if he goes down, then she does too. And that's a good point. I mean, that would explain it more. No, I didn't blame the basil. I think this is that part where they're just quiet. I'm speeding.
I feel like I need proof evidence, but like I'm afraid of being traumatized forever, so I'm not sure what to do.
That's okay. And the Kissimmee detective will go over everything with you, okay?
So she said, I feel like I need proof that was going on by seeing those pictures, but I also don't want to be traumatized forever. So we're waiting on the Kissimmee detectives to come and show her the pictures. Yeah, that was a nice moment to laugh for a second and all this horrible things going on in this case. It wasn't basil. Girl, I would be asking to go to the evidence room. I'd be like, if you're gonna make me, be like, I need something more than alcohol, cigarettes. I need something a lot stronger than any of that.
Can I get you anything?
Right, bad girl, and that's something to point out, and I appreciate you doing that because, to be honest with you, I hadn't even thought about pointing that out, and so I appreciate you doing that. Bad girl says, "What about your daughter's trauma?" Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think personally that Jen had accepted it and found it normal, especially, the way she consoles Stefan in the interviews, the way she says the sex stuff wasn't evil. Like, I think that she accepted the trauma and condoned it. That's just my opinion, but yeah, I agree. Oh, hi, Riley.
How long you been working at Coronado Springs for?
Less than 2 weeks.
Oh, so you just started there?
Yeah.
Are you just like in training, or how does it work?
Yeah, I'm training right now.
Okay. What'd you do before that?
I was a substitute teacher for a little bit, but for the most part, for the last few years, I've just been living off disability.
Okay.
Judy said yesterday's motion made me think Stephen Stern wants a trial with conditions instead of taking a plea deal. Yeah, I don't think that he's taking a plea deal. Zan said, I think Jen condoned it because Stephen Stearns was making money with it. Yep. I don't have anything real important is said right now. So I'm going to speed it up. He's right back. Should have had the timestamp. That's my fault. I don't think he'll end up taking a plea deal. I don't know though. I mean, maybe. I thought maybe until we got the paper about the jury instructions and things like that. No, I don't think so. Yeah, toxic. Me too. Okay, Sarah. Thank you for being. Hazel Eyes said if they give him the death penalty, I believe he will walk. You think so? Or he will talk? Yeah, I would hope so.
You okay? It's your head.
Okay. Think they're
Just thinking about how he didn't know, how he didn't see anything.
there isn't one tear or one snipple. Abella said, but what choice does he have? They have mountains of evidence. They can't deny these crimes. Nope. Jen said, I think if Stephen Stearns can control the trial, he'll proceed. You think so? I thought they came in, but didn't. Let me see it back up. I'm going to leave it normal. Just do this.
In the West Lobby.
to meet up with her friends at school early. And I know
Did she tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know she wanted McDonald's.
Okay, we'll go to right here and see. Joseph said since there's 2 separate cases.
He arrived. He made sure she was doing what she needed to be doing. I got home around 10:30, and
Since there's 2 separate cases, can they do a plea deal on one case and still give him the death penalty on the other? I'm not sure. Zayo says Ernst pleaded not guilty to all charges, and trial dates have been set for February 24th, 2025 for the child sexual battery case and September 22nd, 2025 for the homicide case. Yes, thank you for letting me know. I remembered that, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
And saw that she was almost ready for bed.
Trying to get it back to the beginning. I was skipping.
So, but before I get started, your first name is Jennifer, right?
Yeah.
And your last name is?
Soto.
So, what's your telephone number?
718.
Okay.
938.
Okay.
1553.
And you live? What apartment number is that?
Building.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you, and once again, I apologize. So on Monday, you've gone to school. Is that right? Okay. So tell me how that morning went. Actually, let's go the night prior. So
night prior, she had a birthday party. I couldn't be there because I was at work.
Where do you work at?
Disney World. I'm front desk at Coronado Springs.
Okay.
She had a birthday party. She had a good time. She spent the entire time with my family. Later that evening.
Zayo said, is it legally possible for prosecutors to negotiate a plea deal for one case while pursuing the death penalty in the other? I don't know. I think they're going to do 2 separate trials so they don't have to worry about that. Jen says, makes me think it was an open relationship type thing. Toxic said he won't be able to control it. He's not smart enough. Yeah. Gammy, I agree. It's sick. Lori says, can't wait until the trial so we start finding out the truth. Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm ready for the trial as well. Prosecutors might offer a plea deal in the lesser case to streamline proceedings or secure a conviction without the need for a lengthy homicide trial. Who knows though? Yeah. And then Mayla said, I don't think they'll go to trial that quickly. I could be wrong though. They're trying to push it out, but the judge said no, they're going to go ahead and get it done. But I don't know.
Evening around 8:30, my sister dropped her off at my house. And she started getting ready for bed or doing her nighttime routine, which is take her meds and get in the shower. About 10 minutes after she arrived, Stefan arrived, and he let me know that she was doing what she was supposed to be doing. He arrived. He made sure she was doing what she needed to be doing. I got home around 10:30. And saw that she was almost ready for bed. I ate, we talked for a little bit, asked how the birthday party was to show me her gifts, how everything went. And then she went to bed.
Natasha said, I think that's exactly what'll happen, Zayo. Abella said, Gammy, I'm often behind in some chats, wondering if some things seem off until I realize I should refresh. I try keeping an eye out on our family here. Yeah, I was skipping through, and that's probably why I was skipping earlier. But yeah, Abellis, you're so awesome. Y'all are also awesome, and thank you. Toxic said the charges would also be brought up in the murder case. Yeah, they will. So they might try the lesser of 2 evils, like not lesser of 2 evils, but charges on the CSAM case, and then go harder on the death penalty case.
And this is around, you said around 10:30 she went to bed?
Around 11.
11, okay.
this point, I sent them, we have 2 bedrooms. We're a 4-bedroom townhouse, but there's a bedroom and a guest bedroom.
Okay.
I sent them upstairs to the guest bedroom because I had not slept well the night before. I had forgotten my psychiatric meds and I was feeling off. I was not feeling okay. So when I got home from work, I said, guys, I need a good night's sleep. They all wanted to sleep in my bed, all 3 of us together.
Okay. Is that normal?
Yeah, for us to do that, yeah.
Okay.
When he sleeps with me, if he's around, he'll sleep upstairs sometimes in the guest bedroom or with us in our bed. But the 3 of us on my bed is pretty uncomfortable. It's a king. Sleeps like a monkey. She just kicks and punches.
Mine are too, I know.
Yeah. She'll up on one side and wake up on the other. It's just, yeah. So I asked them to sleep upstairs that night to give me a good night's sleep. And they said, okay, they would. And from what as far as I'm aware, they went upstairs. They went to sleep. I was woken up around,
It's not normal. It's not normal at all.
I would say 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, by Stephen trying to put the leash on the dog to walk him. And I got up to try to help him with it, but Stephen got it and walked him and told me to go back to bed. So I went back to bed.
Okay.
I heard people in the kitchen. I'm not sure exactly who because I do have roommates and they're up at all hours.
Jen needs to be prosecuted. Absolutely, I agree.
So I heard somebody in the kitchen. For school. On her nightstand, I know she walked into the kitchen, into her bedroom to get ready and all that because she left her phone on her dresser in her bedroom. And I know she did that while she was getting ready that morning.
Now, what is considered her bedroom? Where?
In the living room.
Okay.
We've got like a little wall partition, and she's got a bedroom in the living room. It's got a bed, a dresser, a desk, and a
Yeah, her little nook in the living room.
TV. She doesn't sleep there though. She just hangs out there during the day. That's her space. She'll hang out there. But yeah, she got ready, supposedly, and they were off. They left to school early. I'm not sure what time they left.
What time does her school start, do you know?
She's got to be at school at the latest by 9:20.
So she's going over it again for the Orange County detectives, and I'm just trying to get to the part to gauge the reaction. I'm going to have to go soon, but we're going to gauge the reaction because it's not normal, and I'm going to show you what the police think, and then we'll move on to something else tomorrow. Abellis, thank you so much for gifting 10 memberships. Wow, y'all are being so supportive today. My goodness, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Do you know what time her school starts?
9:28.
Okay.
That was so sweet. Thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations to the new members.
From what I was told, he dropped her off somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45, or somewhere along that line, around that time.
And Stephen told you this?
Actually, that timeline might be from like the cameras, the church cameras you guys have told me about, but we don't know if that was really her, so I'm not sure about the timeline anymore. He said he went, I think he had given me a timeline of, he dropped her off somewhere between 8:20 and 8:45, but he's not sure exactly what time.
Okay.
He said they were making good time that morning. He was like
Zaya said, do we think that Jen may have been also abusing her in some way? If she was willing to sleep in bed with both of them, is she a participant in the abuse? I think so, because of the message saying, I can't risk it.
Super impressed with how quickly she got up, got ready, and was out the door. I know she wanted to meet up with her friends at school early. And I know
Did she tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know she wanted McDonald's early that morning for breakfast.
Mhm.
But Stephen said she was asleep in the car for the majority of the car ride, and he kept trying to talk to her and talk her into getting McDonald's.
Mhm.
But she kept saying, no, just drop me off.
Okay.
So this is where she got dropped off somewhere on the road close to
I think so.
school.
Toxic.
And I don't know what happened to her. But this is what I was being told happened that morning.
Gotcha. And then you went to pick her up after school. Is that right?
Yeah. I left the house at 2:30. School is not let out till 4 o'clock, but it takes me about 20 minutes to drive, 25 minutes.
Mhm.
And then I wait that hour outside. I like being the first car in line. I like being the first.
Through the line, if you know.
Exactly. So I like,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like the angels too, and I thought it would be nice to give Maddie some angels.
I waited that hour and something minutes for 4 o'clock to show. 4:04 is when the bell rings. Waited there for until like 4:10 and she didn't come out. That only sounds like a few minutes, but in those few minutes, the cars behind me got full of children. I'm the first in line, so there's cars behind me already picking up the children. They're waiting to get out. So I felt pressured and rushed. So I decided to drive away. I'm like, she's not here. Something's wrong. Or maybe I forgot to tell her that I was picking her up. Maybe she just decided to walk. She'll do this sometimes. This is pretty close to the school. So I decided to drive along the path that she would have walked. And I asked, has she made it? And they said no.
Joseph said that I can't risk it comment in Jen's word is suspicious as F. Yep, it is. Jen's sexual morals are so weird. It's not a good sign. If it's not evil for Stephen, what about her? Yeah. And Gammy said Maddie is an angel now for sure. She absolutely is. Hey, all things serious.
The path again and see if I see her along the way.
Thank you for being here.
Drive along the path. I park on the road where she would be walking, and I waited there for about 15 minutes and nothing. She didn't appear. At this point, I returned back to the office. She should have been at the office by this point. It's like 4:35. She did not appear. So at this point, I call her best friend and I asked her best friend, with you, I don't think I told her I was coming to pick her up, but she's not walking or she's not at school. And she said, no, she never made it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean she got dropped off? And she's like, she never made it to first or second period. I said, can you please check with your other friends to see if she made it to her other periods? At this point, I start panicking and
all things serious. Yeah, they were gifting memberships like crazy earlier. It was super sweet. So yeah, it was somebody in here today, and that was really sweet. Thank you guys for doing that.
Drive back to the school to check her attendance, but the school office had already closed. So
What time was this?
This is around 4:45.
Okay. And the school was closed already? Okay.
I think they closed at like 4:30.
Go back.
I went to the school, I rang the
45
bell, they
seconds.
were
Okay,
closed.
hold on.
Nobody was opening the door.
Basil, hold on. I'll go to 102:44. Okay, hold on.
Decided to drive along the path that she would have walked. And I asked, has she made it? And they said no. And I said, okay, let me drive the path again and see if I see her along the way. Drive along the path. I park on the road where she would be walking, and I waited there for about 15 minutes and nothing. She didn't appear. At this point, I returned back to the office. She should have been at the office by this point. It's like 4:35.
So Zayo, this is when she called Maddie's bestie from Maddie's phone and asked Maddie's bestie if she was at school, and Maddie's bestie said she never made it to class. And then she said, "What do you mean she got dropped off?" Oh, I didn't hear that part. Because this is when she told Maddie's bestie that she dropped her off at the school or at the church. Because Maddie's bestie says she thought it was weird that Jen said she dropped her off, knowing damn well Stephen dropped her off. I'll keep it playing.
She did not appear. So at this point, I call her best friend and I asked her best friend, with you, I don't think I told her I was coming to pick her up, but she's not walking or she's not at school. And she said, no, she never made it to first or second period. And I said, what do you mean she got dropped off? And she's like, she never.
Yeah, she did say, what do you mean she got dropped off? And I mean, again, that makes me think she's trying to cover because she knew Madeline didn't get dropped off.
Made it to first or second period. I said, can you please check with your other friends to see if she made it to her other periods? At this point, I start panicking and I drive back to the school to check her attendance, but the school office had already closed. So
Okay, so yeah, she's saying to the friend, what do you mean she didn't make it to first or second period? She got dropped off. And she's telling the friend that she dropped her off at the school, at the church, I mean. And it is weird. And again, it makes me think that, like, you knew because you're trying to reiterate so much that, what do you mean she got dropped off? She got dropped off. Like, you're trying to make sure everybody knows that she got dropped off, whether you say at the church, at the school, whatever. And I don't understand why you feel it's necessary to tell everybody and their whole entire mama that she got dropped off, unless you knew she didn't get dropped off and you're trying to really make sure that you say that so people believe you. But that's just a thought that I've had reviewing this case.
What time was this?
This is around 4:45.
Okay.
Um,
And the school was closed already?
mhm.
Okay.
I think they closed at like 4:30. I went to the school, I rang the bell, they were closed, nobody was opening the door. So we decided to leave, but I had already emailed one of her teachers. I think when I had spoke to her best friend, I had emailed the teacher. The teacher confirmed that she never made it to his period.
Jenny, it's possible. I mean, at this point, anything is possible. Yeah.
Period, and never made it to any of her other periods that day. He checked her attendance for the whole day. When he told me this, I realized something was really wrong, truly wrong. A panic attack.
And what time was this?
I'm gonna say around 4:45, 4:50.
Okay.
And yeah, I called.
So I'm waiting to show her the actual picture of Maddie. They didn't release her toxicology, but there's a rumor that Stephen had a drug that is used to basically tranquilize a person or an animal before surgery. And that was in her system. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but I've heard that.
Stephen, I asked Stephen, I'm like, did you drop her off? He said, yeah, why? I'm like, she never made it to school. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know, just.
And another good point, Joseph said her first instinct is to always bring out the narrative, not to advocate for her daughter. Right. But I mean, yeah, again, when you take into account the fact that she's like the sex stuff wasn't evil, I mean, it was never about Maddie, in my opinion. It was about money and Stephen.
She's not here. She's not here. And he drove immediately to the office and then waited with me. I was having a panic attack. Trying to stay calm, but it was really hard. I think we waited about 3 hours for the police to show up. I think 2 children had gone missing around the same time in a park nearby, so all the cops were answering that call. Eventually, a family member went over to the park and spoke to an officer and let him know, hey, there's another missing child. Please come take the report. So they followed him and brought him to the office. And then he took down our statements and made the report, and then everything, the process started. They were there for, I'm gonna say 1 to 2 hours, and then it was time to go home.
Okay. So ever since then, since the officer took the report, or the deputy took the report, have you been looking for, have you been driving around?
I've been staying at home just in case she comes home.
Okay.
My family, I have a huge family.
Mhm.
They've been driving around. They've been walking the walking path behind the school. They've been handing out. They've handed out like 1,000 flyers already. They're the ones who contacted the news.
Has she gone missing before? She never ran away, even if it's for a couple hours or anything like that?
Mayla's mom said, oh, and maybe a couple of tears, a sniffy nose, a random yell. Give us something, Jen, because right now there's nothing, and you're absolutely right. Hey, Chrissy K, thank you so much for being here. Chrissy K said thank you for the membership. Thank you for being here. Zan said, for someone who claims she has awful anxiety and panic attacks, she sure hasn't shown any of that in all these stressful interviews. Hey, you're absolutely accurate in stating that. Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, Christy, we had a lot of people gifting memberships today. It was super sweet.
Okay.
I think it's right here.
So when you physically or talked to her, it was the night before.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. And how was she then? What was her demeanor?
Happy. She had the best birthday party.
Mhm.
She loved her presents, her gifts. She had a lot of money.
Here's where she's talking about a lot of money. She loved her presents, her gifts, but the friend said she had one gift on the table.
So she was showing me all that.
Okay. So how was her sleeping habits? I know you said she was up and at 'em in the morning. Is she, because some kids like to sleep all day, some kids get up and then they're ready to go. What's she like?
So when she
Oh,
sleeps with me and I have to wake her up, she's difficult. She'll snooze 3-4 times. We'll hit the alarm a few times, let it ring, and then go back to sleep. And let it ring and then go back to sleep. When it's her waking up herself and she sets her own alarms on her phone, which is what I think she did that morning, she usually gets up pretty quickly. She doesn't snooze. She'll get up, she'll immediately go do what she needs to do. And then she'll either lay back down in bed and snooze until it's time to go, or yeah, just be ready to go.
Do you take her to school? Okay. When you take her to school, where do you drop her off at?
At the school.
Okay, so you pull in through the line and drop her off at the front and stuff like that. When she goes to school, when you take her to school, is she talkative in the car, or what does she do on the way there?
Not really. She'll be on her phone. We'll listen to the radio station, or listen to some Taylor Swift.
She's all happy and giddy right here. Toxic said, I'd be like, are we done yet? I need to find my baby. Have they found her or anything regarding her? Stop questioning me until my baby is found. I want a lawyer, any of that. Yeah, right. All things serious said it takes a while to get up because she was rugged. Yeah, every single night. And he was in the documents. It tells you that she's asleep and he's taking pictures of things in her mouth and putting. Yeah, it's just horrible. He was molesting that child while she was sleeping. Like I doubt she got very much sleep at all. Poor child.
Yeah, she's pretty quiet. She'll be snoozing, sleeping.
Yeah. Okay. So going back to Stefan, was Stefan at the birthday party?
No.
No. Okay.
He was traveling from Northport, Florida to Kissimmee.
Where's Northport?
Sarasota County.
Oh, okay. And he got here when?
So if she got dropped off around 9:30, 8:30, he probably showed up around 8:45.
Did you know he was coming?
Yes.
Okay. So you guys hung out? What did you guys do that night? Okay.
What did we do that night? I only spent about 30 minutes with them because I had to go to sleep. I had to take my meds and go to sleep. And I know that they need to go to sleep because they had to go to school, or she had to go to school. I usually like making bedtime around 10:30. So when I got there and she was still up, I understood why she was still up. She was waiting for me and wanted to show me all her presents and stuff. By 11, I was just like, you guys need to go to bed. It's late. Like, it's super late. Sorry. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Is it normal if he comes to see you that he or
Yes, it's normal for him to sleep upstairs in the guest bedroom.
okay? What makes it different from when he sleeps with, or the three of you, or upstairs by himself?
It all depends on the circumstance of what's going on. For the most part, if it's a school week and school, I send them upstairs because I know that my alarms are going to go off multiple times super early in the
Yeah, toxic. Supposedly birthday money was left with grandma. Yep.
morning, and I don't want to wake him up. Difficult to wake up, so I have to constantly be talking to her, shaking her. So I, for the most part, it's downstairs and he goes upstairs.
What made it different that night? For
The fact that I forgot my bipolar meds Saturday night, and I was not acting normal Sunday. And I realized Sunday night, oh my God, I forgot my meds Saturday night, which is why I've been so freaking weird today. I'm like, I need to take these meds.
Okay, having bipolar myself and having once been on medication before I got into natural remedies and things like that, missing one day of bipolar meds is not going to affect you like that. They will tell you when you start taking bipolar medication that it takes a good 2 or 3 weeks to get built up into your system. And that the problem with a lot of that stuff is that people will start feeling good and they'll stop taking their medication because it's built up in their system and it makes them feel better for such a long period of time. They'll stop taking it and then eventually start feeling bad again. You're not going to notice after not taking your meds for one day at all whatsoever. You're not. I'm sorry. You're just not.
And I need to sleep. I need like a good night's sleep. I can't wake up early in the morning. I can't take her. I can't do any of that. Like, I need you to do it. That's primarily the reason I told him to come from Northport, Florida to help me was this week because of training at work. I needed help. I needed support. So I invited him up to help me with that.
Yeah. I take them right now. I do take a supplement, but it's natural oils. It's from doTERRA. I'll show it to you. We can talk about it. I actually I love doTERRA products and supplements, but I don't talk about it much because like I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to sell them something. And then Shaboogies, thank you. Said she was missing medicine around the time she dies. She was behind on all her medicine and hadn't taken it in months. From what I understand, like the bottle was like supposed to be out of medication in freaking December and she was still using it in February. Did I push play? No. I did.
Did you work on Monday?
No, I'm sorry.
You were off. Okay. So Monday during the day, what'd you do throughout the day?
I had a blood work appointment at 10:15, 10:30.
Right,
I
Shaboogies.
took a little while to be seen.
Did Stefan go with you?
No. He was not home he had not gotten home by the time I left.
Do you remember what time you left?
Around, I think 9:30.
And where was your blood work at?
About 15 minutes away.
Which way? Towards Kissimmee or Orlando?
Towards Orlando. It's on the border of Kissimmee, Orlando. It's in the loop. It's across the street from the loop. There's a doctor plaza there. There's a lab court there. So I went to lab court when I got blood work done.
Okay.
Waited there for a while. Then I must have gotten home sometime between I'd say 11:15, 11:30, something like that, or from 11 to 11:30 sometime. And he was there. But before that, while I was at my blood work appointment, he actually called me. He said, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I left my phone at home. I was running some errands. This morning, we made super great time. She got ready super fast. We left super early. I offered her McDonald's multiple times, but she refused. So she asked to be dropped off early.
It's possible, Shaboogies.
And so he did.
Does she ever go to school and does she ever ask to go? Because sometimes kids don't want to go to school, period. Is
Yeah.
it normal for her to ask to be dropped off early?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay.
She's asked me multiple times to drop her off early. She wants to meet up with her friends, or she wants to get there earlier and earlier just to meet up with her friends.
But you still drop her off at the school?
Yes.
Okay. So she hangs out with her friends within the school?
Yes.
Okay.
The only reason I think he did not take her to school directly that morning is because she has voiced multiple times, "Hey, is Stefan taking me to school? Can you please drop me off far away?" She's embarrassed by his car. It's a Cadillac, it's not that old, but to her it's an old hoopty. She can't be seen in it. She doesn't want to be seen in it. So she's made that comment before, "Please drop me off far away. I want to walk."
I don't think it had anything to do with the hoopty theory. I think that she had friends and she didn't want Stefan to see her friends, especially if they were male, because he would get jealous and she would hear about it and maybe he would get angry at her or for whatever reason, because I think it's also a possibility that Stefan got mad because she had a crush on somebody. And I think that Stefan, in his mind, they were together. She was his, and he was going to marry her when she turned 18. And she didn't want to do that anymore. And she didn't want him to see her talking to boys like a normal girl of her age would be doing. So she made him drop her off up the street so that he wouldn't see that. That's always been my theory on that. Yeah.
But yeah. When you look at the car, to me, it looks like a normal. It looks old, but.
Gotcha.
It is Shibuya. It's redacted. It's not me. This was before I started taking redactions out of the interviews. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that car wasn't a hoopty by any means. That's what makes me think that it was something else, because that car is not a hoopty. I mean, there has to be another explanation for it. Crap. Well, y'all, I'm probably going to have to go for the day because my husband just got here and we were going to do Christmas shopping yesterday, but there was a wreck. So I'm probably going to have to go, which means we will pick up here tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all what we're going to do. We're going to pick up here tomorrow, but I have the timestamp ready for when they hit her with the photo, and I will have the timestamp ready for in the document where they talk about the photo, and we'll go ahead and get into a video.
So
would he come here? Would you go there?
he would come here. He's only been gone for the last 2 months. So he's come here.
He's coming in. Yep, I'm going to have to go because we got to go finish Christmas shopping. Dang it, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kind of not really get into much of the slide, but we did talk about Delphi. Tomorrow will be better. I'm going to have the timestamps ready for all that, and then we're going to jump into an actual video interrogation, whether it's going to be Stefan or Jen. I'm not sure yet, but that's what we're going to do tomorrow. And I really enjoy talking about these things with you guys. You guys were so generous today. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me today and listening to this and going over your thoughts, theories, and speculations with me. And Yeah, this was a great live. We had a great live yesterday too. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope y'all have a good day and have the best night ever. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Let me get our outro song. Hold on just a minute. They changed StreamYard, so it's hard for me to find my stuff. Thank y'all so much for being here. And thank y'all for being so sweet. And I love y'all, Speculating family. Y'all have the best night ever. Bye.
Listen up, I gotta tell you, there is something you should